Some shows talk about one team. Other shows barely talk sports. This show will talk Packers, Brewers, and Bucks. Every day. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily with Steve Sparky Pfeiffer on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network.
It is time again. We are live from the Wisconsin State Fair inside the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Steve Sparky Pfeiffer with you. I hope you all are well. It is Friday. We made it. We have made it to the weekend. Yes, we have. And I will say that upon my experience of being here almost every day of the State Fair outside of last Saturday, I take that back. I wasn't here Saturday or Sunday. So of the weekday experience that I have, today was the third busiest upon entering the grounds at around 12:30, 1 o'clock when I get here. I waited a little bit longer. Parking lot seemed a little bit fuller. The busiest day was, what was the day where everything was going wrong for me? Was that Tuesday?
Yes,
I think Tuesday
so.
May have been the busiest day. And then opening day, the first day, was probably the second busiest day. And then today is probably the third busiest day I've seen. Now, again, that's on my estimation about when I drive into the parking lot and how crazy it is getting off of Greenfield. But it definitely seems fuller in here today. Last night, when I walked out, it was kind of full. 2 nights ago, after we did the post-game show at 8 o'clock, 8 o'clock Wednesday night, there was all kinds of room on Grandstand Avenue walking towards for us to get out. But that first night, man, it was shoulder to shoulder the entire time. So room for you out here. Again, we're running out of time for the Wisconsin State Fair. You only have a limited time left. This thing ends on Sunday. Sunday is the very, very last day, and then it goes away until next year, and you got to wait again. It is, day 9 out here right now, and our friends from By the Yard are giving away a $2,000 in-store credit towards your purchase of 4 custom Adirondack chairs and 2 side tables. To register to win, simply stop by the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network booth right outside of the Wisconsin State Fair Expo Center and scan the QR code. Plus, we also have some fans to give away while supplies last, and it appears that we give all of them away during Thunder Show. We got 2 left, couple left.
You should sign this one, Sparky.
What was Mitch doing? Just throwing them at people as they were walking by? Like, well, how did we even get to that point?
People like Mitch, they come up and say hi to Mitch, and then he's giving some fans away.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, like Mike Wojciechowski of the Milwaukee Admirals, he's like Mr. Wisconsin State Fair. I don't have an appropriate title for what Thunder is to everybody else, but there is the mayor.
Okay, I like that. The mayor. Yeah.
The mayor. The mayor. No. Now we're putting him in charge of mayors and cities and stuff.
Maybe not that far. Yeah.
I don't think we need to go that far. But the mayor, Mitch Nellis. Yeah, maybe.
I like that.
The mayor or Thunder? Which do we like better?
Mayor Thunder.
I mean, the Thunder is real because he's so loud. I mean, so the Thunder is definitely real. Coming up on today's show, Jacob Morley from the Packer Report. He'll join us at 2:20. He's got thoughts on what we saw last night in the first exhibition football game between the Packers and the Steelers. We'll follow the money at 4:40 with Austin Herdina of the Potawatomi Sportsbook. We'll ask him why he's not out here playing the cash game that they have out here at the Potawatomi Sportsbook in the Central Mall area. Plead the Fifth, brought to you by Habish and Rotier, comes up at 4:20 today. Your chance to tell somebody just to hush it up. You're embarrassing yourself. Maybe just keep it to yourself. So Plead the Fifth comes up at 4:20 today. We'll hear from Matt LaFleur. We'll hear from Jordan Love. Matt LaFleur is actually talking right now. So we'll hear from him. We'll hear from Jordan Love. That comes up at 4 o'clock on our Green and Gold update, and plenty of Brewers talk as well. And we'll start there with the Milwaukee Brewers. We'll get into the Packers there in the next segment. I know a lot of you probably fell asleep last night, sound asleep. And when you went to sleep, the Brewers were probably losing like 4-2, probably after the 3-run six by the Dodgers. You said, that's it, I'm done. I can't take it no more. I got to go to work in the morning. I'm going to sleep. And then y'all woke up this morning, saw the Brewers score, and said, oh, damn, man, why didn't I stay up to watch that? I would have been tired for work had I known that's how that thing was going to end last night. It was on fire, the end of that game. Tim Allen and I did the Potawatomi Sportsbook post-game show right after that Brewers game, like we do after all Brewers games. And as it was happening, like it got to 4-3 after Jackson Chourio did this.
Runner goes, Hamilton, Chourio into right center. That's down a base hit. In to score Ortiz. Hamilton to third. Jackson Chourio with a 2-strike single.
So Jackson Chourio does that, highlight courtesy of Brewers TV. And I'm sitting there and I'm talking to Tim as we're watching the game together. And I was like, yeah, I'm still not buying this. I still don't think they're going to finish this. It's going to be heartbreak again here. They're going to get within one run, and then they're going to strand guys on base, and that's going to be the end of it. But then Garrett Mitchell, well, he made me eat my words.
Oh, and a line drive, base hit right field. Hamilton scores. We are tied at 4. Garrett Mitchell comes through in the clutch.
Now, that was awesome. Now it's 4-4. Now you're starting to feel like, okay, maybe we get this done at the end of the day. Maybe we can finish this. And then Jake Bauers came up, and Jake Bauers has been clutch a lot this year for the Milwaukee Brewers. And he delivered again.
And Bauers on the ground through base hit. Here comes Chourio, and he will score. And the Brewers take the lead in the 9th. Another 2-strike hit. Jake Bauers puts the Brewers in front.
That was awesome last night. Then Trevor McGill comes on. And I was not thinking like he was going to blow it. I was fairly confident it was going to be fine and all work out. It wasn't until the Potawatomi Sportsbook postgame show when somebody said, man, could you imagine had Trevor McGill blown that game tonight in the bottom of the 9th inning?
Why are we thinking about that?
Tim and I about died on the radio. I was like, I'm telling you right now, if he would have blown that, I was leaving. There wasn't going to be a postgame show because I would not be able to function or talk had they come from 2 runs down to take the lead with 3 and then to lose it in the bottom of that inning and extend the losing streak on the West Coast. Yeah, I would not have been functional for that postgame show. I would have just been speechless.
Yeah, you probably would have, but that didn't happen. So why are we talking about it? Why are we thinking about it? Trevor McGill's been awesome.
Yes,
since he's been given that closer role again, he's been phenomenal. He's dropped his ERA by almost 2 points. We were talking about it before on the Mason Crosby show. It's been so much fun to watch him. These are the moments where you have guys like Jackson Chourio and Garrett Mitchell who have been some of your more productive offensive players throughout the course of this season. They're coming through clutch, and that's huge for you. Same with Jake Bauers. He's starting to come through clutch as usual. He's starting to get hot again, as we saw earlier in the season. It looks like it was just a little bit of a down period. These are the types of things that I think really excite me about this game. And let's not think about what if they had lost it, because they didn't. They won it. They did the things you want them to do. That's really exciting. Sometimes I just wish, and I said this on the Mr. Crosby show too, that when you get on base 17 times in a game like they did yesterday, that at least one of those is an extra base hit. Every single one was either a single or a walk. That's singles. Insane. 10 singles, 7 walks.
Yep. 10 singles in the game. And again, that goes back to talking about the Brewers slug and the Brewers lack of power. And people said last year they thought that's why the Brewers were going to lose in the postseason, because of lack of power. The Brewers did not address it in the offseason, and they're winning a lot just like last year. They're dead last in home runs and power again this year. Will the results be different in the postseason? I'm not quite sure. I will say this. I am probably, and things can change, right? We still have a month and a half left. I think I'm going to be more confident in our starting pitching going into that Dodger series this year, if it's the NLCS again, than maybe I was last year. Remember last year, they're hodgepodging it together, having openers and all this other crap. I mean, this year, to be able to throw out Miz and throw out Henderson and Harrison and May, I feel a lot better about the starting pitching.
I don't feel awful about Drowan, even if you had to get to that situation for some reason.
But again, then you think back, you're like, well, wait a second, Sparky. They didn't lose that series last year because of pitching. They lost that series last year because of the hitting. And this is the thing that we were talking about for the last couple of days. Yes, the entire offense is slumping at one time outside of 2 guys. They are not going to slump for another month and a half to 2 months. Just like the Chicago Cubs we talked about yesterday are not going to play at peak level like they've been doing for the last month for the next month and a half to 2 months. They're going to come back down to earth. The Brewers are going to get on a roll here. Now, when they get on a roll, that's the question, right? If they play 500 ball, let's say, to the last 2 weeks of the season and then catch fire on the way out, that's probably the most ideal situation. But you have the Cubs starting August 31st, 4-game set at Wrigley. Then you get the Reds for 3, and then you come home and play the Cubs for 4. That will determine the division at that point. You want to be at least playing decently offensively and putting up some runs by the time you get to that series, and you want the Cubs to come back. they got shut out yesterday by a Nationals team that is, has some guys that can swing it a little bit over there.
Cade Cavalli's had a great season. He's the one who had him no hit through 6 yesterday.
Yep. He pitched really well. So let's see what the Cubs do against the Cardinals. I checked that score because they're playing right now. Cubs don't have any runs. So what, 12 runs now in the last 12 innings?
Not only do they have no runs, they are getting no hit again, but the Cardinals are also getting no hit right now. So it's just a pitcher's duel right now between Liberatore and Holmes.
Liberatore.
Did you ever think there would be a pitching duel between Matthew Liberatore and Clay Holmes this season, Sparky?
No, I didn't. But I'm rooting for the Cardinals in this one. If we're going to say who are we rooting for, I'm definitely rooting for the Cardinals in this one. The other thing, too, about that game last night is, yet again, you're watching this, that Senzatella thing. I literally was on the air begging them not to pitch them on Wednesday because the Padres, no Senzatella. He was with the Rockies.
Shouldn't he know the Padres too, though, by that logic? Like, isn't that the reason they keep putting him out there?
It's how horrible. It's not worked out so well, has it?
No,
so he goes out there on Wednesday. I'm sitting here at State Fair with Tim Allen. I go, and they're going to lose the game. Watch this. And that's what happened. Last night, they put him back in there again. And Tim's like, they did it again. I'm like, yep. And they had the same results. He gave up another damn run. They got to stop. Like, I know they have 3 more games left against the Dodgers, and I know they're probably going to pitch Senzatella at least one more time. But if you're going to pitch him again, make sure you have a nice cushion lead or you're really down and you figure the game is over. Those scenarios I feel like are fine. Tie game, 1-run game, that type of stuff. Maybe wait till we get home and let him face the Mariners or the Braves and see how he does in those situations. DL Hall, 2 scoreless innings, didn't give up a hit, struck out 3 yesterday. That was super impressive by DL Hall. And then, of course, McGill comes in and closes it. And Shane Drowan was going really, really good, not really giving up anything. Senzatella, of course, gave up the inherited runners immediately upon entering the game. But I thought Drowan pitched really well last night.
Well, and I think a lot of this partially, too, has to do with just their overall decisions with the bullpen in general lately. Like, I think that last game against the Padres, I would have let Dustin May go out for the 8th. He was only at 83 pitches. He was pitching great. He's done it before this season, gone that deep multiple times. Went 8 innings against the Padres earlier in the season too, when he had, I think, like 13 strikeouts against them. He's had this type of success. And then all of a sudden you put Chad Patrick in that moment, and Chad Patrick struggles because he hasn't really been consistently in that moment all season in my mind, whereas I think he would have been much better in relief of Shane Drowan yesterday in that spot instead of Antonio Senzatella, who's struggled against the NL West opponents like we've talked about now over the past couple of series. I think it just doesn't make sense to continue to put these guys back out there in these weird situations. I understand you're testing different spots. And I talked about this with the offense, with the defense, that you're putting guys in new spots to see just what you have. And I think you have to do that with the pitching to some degree too. But I think you have to do it with a smaller number of guys rather than just putting everybody in weird spots and moving everybody around besides Trevor McGill, it feels like.
They did pitch May in the 8th inning. May went out there, walked the first guy, and then he yanked him immediately.
Just leave him out there. Let him go.
Guy, and then he went and got Patrick.
Let him go.
And Murphy talked about that yesterday, too, about the idea of, we had considered not even bringing him back out there for the 8th inning and just going straight to Chad Patrick at that point, and then decided we were going to give him a chance to see how he would do. That deal was pretty simple. If they got somebody on, he was out. If he could get through it 1, 2, 3, I think they were going to let that happen. But that, again, it goes back to the same thing we've been talking about. That 6-man rotation absolutely is giving them fits right now at this point. All right, we'll switch gears. We'll go with talk about the Packers-Steelers game yesterday. Jacob Morley from Packer Report will join us. We're broadcasting live out here at the Wisconsin State Fair inside the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Don't forget the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network, proudly outfitted by Berghardt Sporting Goods, our official apparel partner. Outfit your team or company with custom apparel today at BSG 1881. BSG1881.com. Welcome in. It is Wisconsin Sports Daily. How you doing? It is Friday. We're having a good day. Sun is out. It's not too blasted hot out here. A little bit of a breeze to keep you a little bit cooler. That obviously is a positive as well. So coming out here, hang out with us at the Wisconsin State Fair. Out here today until 5 o'clock. And then on Sunday, leadoff show will be out here from 2 to 3 o'clock. I'll be hosting that. And then from 6 to 8, the Potawatomi Sportsbook postgame show with the franchise Tim Allen and myself out here Sunday afternoon from 6 until 8. Look forward to seeing everybody out here. And again, don't be a stranger. Come say hi. We'd love to meet everybody. Are we ready to roll with our guy, Jacob Morley, Charlie?
We are indeed.
Jacob Morley joins us now on the guest hotline, powered by Gruber Law. One call. That is all from the Packer Report. Mr. Morley, how are we today?
I'm doing good, Sparky. Thanks for having me on.
Jacob Morley, before we get into Packer conversation, I want to bring something to you that was brought up a couple of days ago to me that Charlie saw on X, and we kind of did a topic on it yesterday about the lack of development of young quarterbacks getting drafted in the league and all of the guys that seemingly aren't working out. And then you look at Green Bay and have had their last three really work out, plus the litany of backups that have come through Green Bay, regardless of coaching regime, that have allowed their guys to flourish and potentially go be starting quarterbacks elsewhere or be in the league for 10 or 12 years as a backup after they come out of and leave Green Bay. Now there's exceptions. Brian Brohm is an exception, but I mean, for the most part, they've had really good success. Why do you think they've had so much success while so many other organizations have really failed miserably trying to develop young quarterbacks?
I mean, to develop a quarterback, I think there really has to be buy-in in an organization from the top to the bottom. And, I mean, you're seeing it in Minnesota right now. It looks like there was never a consensus on who wanted J.J. McCarthy, who drafted him, who was behind him, all that stuff. And you go back to, I mean, Aaron Rodgers, they were on board. Like, there's the stories of Ted Thompson just kind of talking about not thinking he'd be there and, yada, yada, had to, like, rush and do film review, all that stuff and whatever. But once he was the quarterback, that was the plan. He was going to be the guy, and everybody was on board with that. Same thing with Jordan Love. It really wasn't any different. As soon as he was the quarterback or was drafted, that's what the plan was. And that's it. That's the plan. Now, obviously, amongst fans and stuff, like, we can say whatever we want, and there was a ton of dissension amongst the fans about both those picks, but not within that building. And the coaching staff, I mean, they keep the same GMs. There's not a ton of turnover. There's no owner. That's a huge one to get in there and meddle with that. And, the Mark Murphys of the world and the Bob Harlans of the world, they really just kind of, in a lot of ways, took a back seat to that. That was the plan. They were on board with it too. So I think that's part of it, is just there has to be so much belief in that guy. And then that belief, it has to be warranted. They have to pay you back for that, and they got to prove that you were right. And Green Bay has, I don't want to call it luck because it's not. I think there's a certain method that they have in identifying these guys and developing these guys, and that's why they're good at it. But like you said, there's guys too that haven't worked out, but it's different though. Like, Brian Brohm was never drafted to be the guy. He was drafted to come in and compete.
He thought he was. If you go back, I remember watching that draft. I talked about this yesterday when we talked about this. He was so cocky and so arrogant when he did that interview on ESPN, when he got drafted that night in the second round. And I was like, oh my God, like, this dude plans on trying to come in here and take Aaron Rodgers' job. And the reason they took him in the second round is they didn't believe in Aaron Rodgers fully still at that point, because then they came back in the seventh round and took Matt Flynn, who ended up being the better of the two quarterbacks. I'm telling you, that dude came in high on his horse.
Yeah, that doesn't mean the organization did, though, right? You know what I mean? Like, I still think, like, yeah, sure, I'm sure they wanted to add competition to that, but the plan still was Aaron Rodgers as the starter. I think Brian Brohm would have had to have come in and been, I don't know, Patrick Mahomes-esque to come in and take the job from him at that thing. But, and I think this is not very good radio either. And, you talk about why do some quarterbacks fail and why do some succeed. Is it any different than it's ever been? That's just kind of how it is. If every first-round draft quarterback was good, everybody would have a good quarterback.
I think
it's
the
the
big
hardest
difference
position to play in sports.
I think a big part of it is, and I brought you on top with the Packers-Steelers game, and I sidetracked the whole interview, but I mean, I think part of it too is the ability to sit and learn from a proven quarterback in front of you. And most organizations that are at the top of the draft aren't good organizations. So then they force feed their quarterbacks into the fire when they don't have the pieces surrounding them for that person to succeed to begin with. And that's been the biggest difference, I think, more than anything else. And I've said this before too. I think Aaron Rodgers, if he ends up going to San Francisco, and that's not Alex Smith, and McCarthy leaves a year later and leaves Mike Nolan, and they go through that rigmarole, and somebody's got to coach him up after Jeff Tedford had him pretty much all set up for failure in the NFL. If that would have been the case, I don't even know if Aaron Rodgers is even in the league anymore. He's certainly probably not a Hall of Fame quarterback.
Yeah. To quote Kanye West, I guess we'll never know.
I've never used a Kanye West quote in my life on this show.
I don't think I have either. That didn't feel very natural.
No, it didn't. But whatever. At least it happened. Okay, Jacob Morley, tell me what we thought of last night's football game. The running back that I don't talk to until he plays 2 full NFL games in a row was the guy that we're all watching, because Josh Jacobs obviously didn't play last night, so he got the start. Thankfully, he wasn't in there very long. Came out of it healthy by all accords, which is good too. What did you make of him?
I think he looks different when you watch him play. I think you can definitely see the juice that they like in him. I don't think, it didn't really show up on the stat sheet. I think he averaged like 2 yards a carry or whatever it was, but you can definitely tell when he has the ball in his hands, he moves different than the other guys that were out there. I think he even moves a little bit different than Josh Jacobs does, yes. Just because he does have that explosive ability. But like you said, I'm in the same boat. I mean, I don't want to get my hopes up. I don't want to get excited because we've been there before. And, unfortunately, and for all parties involved, including him, he hasn't been able to stay healthy.
What about these young wide receivers? I got to be honest. I got a favorite. I've had a favorite since they drafted him. I'm rooting for the kid. I don't know if he'll make the team, if he'll end up on the practice squad. I love Sturdivant. That's been my dude I've been riding with. I know a lot of people like Nair, and everybody's got their favorite once you get past those, first 3 or 4 guys as far as who those last couple of guys may be. Do you have a young favorite receiver that you like? Because that is your specialty when we start having that draft guy out. You're the wide receiver guy.
Yeah, I mean, you look at kind of what Green Bay has typically liked. Sturdivant and Nair are both just Packers wide receivers to the core, right? Big, athletic, can move. But I think I like Sturdivant as well. I like him a little bit over Nair, and I'll tell you why. You look at that room and – make what you want of Bo Melton. Is he just a special teams player? Is he going to play wide receiver? Probably, but Sky Moore as well. They're Sky Moore and Bo Melton. If you keep both of those guys, how much are you going to get out of them, out of wide receiver? And are they just going to be there for special teams and things like that? Yeah. So then you also get smaller when you keep both of those guys, and they need kind of another big outside presence, and Nair and Sturdivant are both that, but going back to special teams, if either of those guys have a chance to make it. I mean, I was looking at the special team snaps last night, and Sturdivant was almost played 50% of special team snaps. And you kind of want to read between the lines and read the tea leaves, whatever phrase you want to use, about who's going to be making the team. Look at special team snaps. So I would imagine if they are going to keep, and I think they have to keep 7, but that's usually, I mean, we can get into the whole roster building and roster construction conversation, but what other position are they giving up if they're going to keep 7 wide receivers? And with a guy like Sturdivant, he was a big-time special teams contributor at Florida as well. So it's not like this is anything new to him. So if you're going to be the 7th receiver on a roster, you've got to be able to do multiple things. So that's why I think he would be the guy over a guy like Nair, who also has looked nice. Like, don't get me wrong, but I think it'll be one of those 2 guys if they do keep 7. And I'm with you. I think it's Sturdivant. I also, we were talking about this. I was talking about this with some guys, and it's like every year we fall in love with the 7th wide receiver, and we want them to keep the 7th, and we're scared that they're going to get picked up by someone else and go on to be this great player. That's not going to happen. That never happens. But if they do keep a 7th, I think it's going to be Sturdivant. And I do like his potential, and I do like his ability on the outside. And And Sparky, I know this is you interviewing me, but I have to ask you this question because I'm on, Matt LaFleur just spoke. Did you listen to anything that he just said?
No.
Okay,
this is
kind of breaking news.
We're gonna play some of it back at 4:00, I think. Why? What do you got?
Well, he was brought up Aaron Banks, and you got a lot. His tone of voice was very interesting with how he spoke about Aaron Banks, and he basically said it's an open competition. And it's going to be really hard not to start the rookie Jager Burton with what he's put on.
Why do they love that guy so much? Tell me.
Which one, Banks or Burton?
Burton. Tell me why everybody's in love with this guy.
I think he's your Packers coded offensive lineman. When you look at what they've done traditionally, that's been good. I think he moves like a young TJ Lang. I'm not saying he's going to be TJ Lang, but I think the way he moves is very much like that. I thought he was really good last night as well. And I think he's a guy that's kind of a plug and play. But I think the real question too is not necessarily I think the question is, do they really actually like Burton that much, or are they just trying to send a message to Banks, who has, not practiced very often? It's like the load management stuff. Someone also asked him a question if Banks had surgery between off-season activities and training camp, and LaFleur just said, I'll let you ask him that, kind of in an annoyed tone. So
right.
That's, I think, going to be the big takeaway from that particular press conference. And kind of, if you go to Twitter right now, that's kind of what everyone's talking about, because it's interesting. That is an interesting thing, especially because they gave Banks, they didn't give him more money, but they kind of reworked his contract in a way that they committed to him for another year. So it's
2 years.
It's a really interesting situation.
They committed to him. Jacob, they committed him for more than a year. It's 2 years. I mean, his cap number is $12 million this year. The dead cap hit is 36, so he's not going anywhere. Next year, his cap number is 25.4. His dead cap number is 26.2. They got this dude through 2027.
Yep, it's a super odd situation. It's kind of one of those things, and that's why I kind of think there's just sending him a message, I hope. And I hope he can play better than he ever has, but when he is in the lineup, he's not terrible, but when you're talking about the numbers that you just pointed out, not terrible is not really what you're shooting for, so it's tough. And like that whole room, that's kind of one of the takeaways from last night as well, is the things that could hold this team back. I think when you look at it and say, okay, the cornerback room, what's that going to look like? And I thought Cisse acclimated himself pretty well last night. There's at least some hope there that you can get, that you have a guy. You have at least one. And when you have one guy, a true cornerback one, everything else kind of falls into place. I think, Valentine is fine as your cornerback two if Cisse is going to play really good football. So there's always optimism there, right? And with the offensive line room, I mean, Burton is a guy that they seem to like. John Williams, the second-year guy, I like a lot. I thought he played really well. I thought Jordan Morgan looked excellent last night. But you look at that interior offensive line, it's like, okay, so who are the two guards in the center? Like, I'm not sold on Sean Ryan, not yet. I mean, I know they paid him to be the starter, but that position, that center position, if you don't have two guards next to you, it doesn't really matter. And I don't know who's going to play guard for this team. It seems like they don't need just one; they need two.
I brought this up yesterday. I think, ain't nobody talking about it, but isn't there a chance that they flip-flop Monk and Ryan goes back to be the starting right guard, and Monk ends up being the starting center? Isn't that
maybe
a possibility at this point? Not that either one, necessarily changes your opinion of the offensive line. I do think the offensive line is the biggest question mark going into this season. Because if they block well and do their job and can stay healthy, that opens up things for the running game. Jordan Love is unbeatable when he's given time in the pocket. That changes everything. But if they're beat up and hurt and they're a sieve up front, then it potentially is going to be an ugly season for the Green Bay Packers. Jacob Morley, Packer Report, joining us here on Wisconsin Sports Daily, live from the Wisconsin State Fair, inside the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. All right, the name that everybody's talking about from last night, obviously, is Trey Smack, the rookie kicker. And I'll be straight with you. I was not a fan of letting McManus go before we got to see what Smack looked like through training camp and so forth. Like if you want him to have it, but we're going to have a competition, then fine. At least you're protected in case this thing goes sideways with a rookie kicker. We've seen a rookie kicker already with Carlson. That didn't work out, and they had to move on. Goody then thought he solved it, so he didn't have to worry about drafting or dealing with young kickers anymore, and then bailed and went to this guy. In the stadium, he's looked fine. He looked okay at family night. He yanked the one to the left, I guess. But then yesterday, you want him because he can kick the ball longer. He can hit him from 57. He can hit it from 58. And obviously McManus can't do that at this point. Early thoughts on Trey Smack?
I don't know. I hope he's great. And right now it's exciting because he looked awesome. Like hitting 258 yarders as a rookie is impressive. Don't get me wrong, but I would be lying to you if I told you every time he's going to get trotted out there this year, I'm going to be holding my breath. And I think that's just the nature of being a rookie kicker as well. But the positive things I'll say about it is, yes, he's looked good in the stadiums. And whatever Cam Accord said about practice and what LaFleur said about practice, they kind of shrugged it off. And you don't know if they're just trying to kind of protect the young guy or if that's truly how they feel. And right now, it seems like Smack is kind of backing that up, where it's who knows what he's working on at practice. But when it comes to game time in the stadiums, he's been hitting his kicks. And the one thing I'll say about him, and I'm not going to claim to be some expert on kicker because I'm certainly not. I kind of just subscribe to the Goody philosophy of hands up. It's good or it's not good, right? And what I'll say about Smack, though, is when you watch him kick, and it's such an effortless stroke. Like the first 58-yarder he hit and the one right before half, you go back and rewatch that, and with McManus and even with guys like Narveson and Halversack, like those guys that have been around and they didn't really seem to like, I think McManus was just, he's gotten older and he's got to put a little bit more into it to make those long kicks, and then it changes everything and all that. It's like anybody that's golfed, you try to hit the ball further, and sometimes it's in the trees. You got to have the same stroke every time, and it's got to be clean, and it's got to be, your mechanics have to be good. And him being a young guy with a big leg like that, like I've been impressed with the mechanics and his swing and just how far how high, far, and straight he can kick the ball. And this sounds like, no duh, but it's not. And a lot of kickers can't do that. And I know that's one thing they talked about with him that they really liked, is the fact that he kicks the ball straight. Like it doesn't tail off, it doesn't curve, it doesn't do anything like that. And we watched Mason Crosby for a decade plus, and Mason is awesome, but he had more of kind of that slice where the ball would move in the air, and it would always make me nervous. But it would always, more often than not, would go through the uprights. But Smack is not really that way. I'll say this: I'm actively participating in the Hall of Fame talk, right? Because he's the best kicker they've ever had. But we don't really know. And right now, I think it's just kind of fun to enjoy that. Next week, when they trot him out there again, I hope he can replicate that success. And then that's kind of the challenge for him right now. And I think Matt said it last night, where he's got to stack games. Like he's got to go out there and do it again next week and the week after that, so on and so forth. We won't really know about him probably until at the end of the year. And I think right now his arrow is certainly pointing up, and that's good. And I think if there was one player that you wanted to go out and have a night like that last night, it was him.
Yeah,
because that was probably where the most, gnashing of teeth was amongst this fan base is, oh my gosh, are we really going to go into the season without a kicker again? And I don't think that question is answered, but last night was certainly something to be optimistic about.
I lied. I got one more. When Zaire Franklin was brought to the Packers, I liked the move. I got absolutely lit up on X for liking the move, and everybody thought it was a step backwards from what they had with Quay Walker, and they didn't like it. Clearly, Goody likes him and has been chasing after trying to get him for the last few years. I think Gannon likes him as well, the new defensive coordinator. You saw him flash a little bit last night. What do you think of Zaire Franklin replacing Quay Walker?
Man, I think he played 3 snaps last night, and one of them was he just completely steamrolled
Correct.
The running back that was in his path, and he just blew that play up. And it was, I don't know who they credited the sack with. There were several guys there, but if he brings that to the table, that's not something Quay was doing. He was not, for all of the things that Quay was, he was exactly how you draw up a linebacker. I can't really remember even that one play that Zaire had last night where he, just squares up with a blitz, a guy trying to pick up the blitz and just puts him on his keister. Like, I don't really remember Quay ever doing anything like that. And so if he brings that type of violence and intensity to this defense, heck yeah. And that's kind of what I think people that were optimistic about it were excited about, was just maybe not even, maybe he has slowed down a half step or two, but if he still plays with that type of intensity, that's going to be great for Edgerrin Cooper. That's going to be great for this defense that, say what you want to say, but they gave up leads late in games last year more than once. And I don't know who you want to put that on, but I know how you can fix it, and it's with guys like that are not going to accept that and aren't going to play scared in those moments. And he's a veteran that's been in those moments. So I'm excited to have him on the team. I think he showed last night, if you were excited that they brought him in, he kind of showed you why. I think his biggest issue is going to be coverage still. I think there are going to be times where people want to pull their hair out just because he's going to give up some completions in the middle of the field. But if he can affect the passing game like in the way he did last night on blitzes and stuff like that, that's going to ease that a little bit for him. So I'm excited. I think you were right for being excited about him. He's a 30-year-old player. It's not like he's 38 and completely done, completely dried up, but I think he's got a year or two of good football left in him, and I'm excited to see what that looks like in Green Bay.
It'll be fun to see Jacob Morley, Packer Report, as well as 24/7 Sports. Jacob, thanks for coming on, man. I appreciate it.
All right, thank you. Have a good one.
Take care. There he is, Jacob Morley, joining us on the guest hotline, powered by Gruber Law. One call, that's all. Steve Sparky Pfeiffer with you live here at the Wisconsin State Fair, inside of the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Oh, wait, let's talk about the Potawatomi Sportsbook. 2 levels of seating. Charlie thought I was going to break.
You're the worst.
2 levels of seating at the Potawatomi Sportsbook. All kinds of different seating options. They got recliners in the first 2 rows. You're looking up at a 2,000 square foot center screen at the Potawatomi Sportsbook that can show you 30 different sporting events at one time. They got UFC fight nights turned up way loud over there. You've got the Potawatomi Sportsbook kitchen, full menu, all day brunch, steak and eggs, pancakes. Plus they got burgers, wraps, salads, everything you could potentially want. And over 40 beers on tap, dozen different specialty cocktails, homemade desserts and pastries every day at the Potawatomi Casino Hotel, Milwaukee. Reserve your seats ahead of time, and don't forget there's shuttles to and from Brewers home games. For more details on everything I just talked about, simply check them out today by going to Potawatomi.com.
All right, Sparky's a popular guy. He's over there having a photo op with our friends by the Yard. Is he coming back here? We'll see. If you guys are paying attention here on Wisconsin Sports Daily, live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, empowered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook and out at State Fair, presented by the Yard, where Sparky is right now. If you guys have been paying attention to the Little League World Series, Whitefish Bay, they went into extra innings here with Iowa. In the top of the 7th, they went up by 2 runs. It was 6-4. You were feeling good in the extra innings of the Little League World Series. They've been doing the extra runner at second. I don't know, like I feel like that's where it should be used. I don't know if like the MLB level, do you really need that extra runner in the top or in the extra innings? I think that is a little much at the MLB level. I like it in the Little League. It doesn't bother me here. But Iowa in the bottom of the 7th, the Wisconsin pitcher just looks really tired. He's at 72 pitches now. He hasn't really been able to throw a consistent strike at this point so far in the bottom of the 7th. It is now again tied 6-6. He does have one out now. He's got runners on first and third. So we'll keep you up to date on how that game is going there. On the NFL side of things, we are starting to see some of these disciplinary reports coming out for some of these guys on some of these teams where substance abuse policies are being violated, domestic abuse policies are being violated. We are going to keep an eye out for Josh Jacobs and news coming out about him and his situation here. As we've talked, and Wisconsin just lost the game. Wild pitch by the guy that's just thrown 73. Big Easy, as we were calling him on the Mason Crosby show. I think that was his nickname that popped up on the screen. He scores at home on that wild pitch. Davenport, Iowa advances to the Little League World Series. The dream run for Whitefish Bay is officially over for those kids over there. You are heartbroken to hear that, see that. That really sucks for those kids. Congratulations to Iowa. It's really cool to watch the Little League World Series no matter what. Oh, and Sparky's back finally. Here we go.
Oh, man, I sit here and I tell you, I said, tell
I
Sam,
did.
we're like 9 seconds left. And Sam's sitting here. Sam didn't come get me. Sam didn't text me. Sam just sat here and said, Charlie's got it. That was Sam's point. Charlie's got it.
I did.
Good, man,
Wisconsin lost.
What?
Wisconsin lost.
Well, I walked away for that 5-minute
Yeah,
break. You told me Wisconsin had the lead by 2.
Yeah, they did. And then in the bottom of the 7th, Wisconsin's pitcher went back out there with about 60 or so pitches. He then gave up 2 runs by walking or hitting a kid, then walking the next 2, and then a single. And then just had a wild pitch that went by the catcher. Guy from third went and scored at home. 7-6 is the final score. Iowa advances to the Little League World Series.
And Wisconsin still does not have a berth in the Little League World Series ever. Hey, heck of a run by Whitefish Bay. Heck of a run by Whitefish Bay. Proud of you boys. Nicely done. And y'all need to pick up that kid, whoever that was, that blew that game there in the 7th inning for the Little League World Series.
He went for like the last 4 innings, man. You feel awful.
So he was tired.
He was at 73 pitches at the end of the game.
Oh, then it's on the coach for not putting somebody else in.
Yeah, I don't really know how the rules work. They were like counting the amount of times like guys were going out there, the coaches, timeouts they take. So I don't know if they just couldn't like put in a new reliever or something.
Well, if you're angry about it, blame the coach then. I mean, if the kid was tired, he should have pulled him, right? I mean, that's what it is. I'm not there. I don't know all the details.
And I'm sure all these kids have pitched a ton too.
No doubt. Wisconsin Sports Daily, live from the Wisconsin State Fair, inside the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Time to talk more about the crew coming up next. Don't go anywhere.
Some shows talk about one team. Other shows barely talk sports. This show will talk Packers, Brewers, and Bucks. Every day. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily with Steve Sparky Pfeiffer on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network.
Welcome in. It is Wisconsin Sports Daily, live from the Wisconsin State Fair inside the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. I hope you all are well here on a Friday. State Fair is wrapping up. 3 days left. You got today, you got tomorrow. It's supposed to be rain and thunderstorms tomorrow, so I'm not sure how it's going to be out here tomorrow.
Thunder is convinced that it's only like 60% chance of rain and that it's going to keep going down. He seems to be the weather expert around here, man.
He's been wrong on everything he said on the weather so far during State Fair. Like every time he's made a prediction to me, he's been wrong. In fact, I told him that I was pulling his one show earlier this week because of rain and thunderstorms. He's like, that's just going to be a sprinkle. I'm looking at the Weather Channel. You're going to be wrong. I said, okay, if you think so. I said, but I don't think I'm going to be wrong. A bag of candy. I'm not betting you a bag of candy.
Why not?
So sure enough, here we go, and it's pouring rain outside and everything else. And he's like, okay, you were right. Okay, again.
He still thinks he could have been out there, though, even with how bad it was.
I know. The one thing you have to understand about Mitch Nellis is he loves people and being the center of attention. That he just thrives in those scenarios.
Mayor State Fair.
An opportunity to be out here with everybody watching him, he loves that. And shaking people's hands and kissing babies and all of that. Mitch Nellis is meant for the entertainment business. He should really be, what he wants to be, the dream job, the ring announcer for the WWE.
Uh-huh.
That really is
so good at it.
He'd be so good. He'd be amazing. And I know he's tried, but either way, that's what he's meant to do. We are meant to do this at 3:00.
It's time to talk about the crew. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network.
It is time to talk about the Brew Crew. We do it every day at 3:00. Talk about the Packers, the Green and Gold update at 4:00 every day. We'll hear from Matt LaFleur. Jacob Morley brought it up in the last hour. LaFleur talking about Aaron Banks in not such a positive light, I guess. So we'll hear more about what Matt LaFleur had to say there coming up at 4:00. So I want to take this opportunity to have a conversation, not specifically necessarily about the Brewers, but taking what happened last night and using that going forward. This is what I mean. You get swept by the San Diego Padres. You should have won 2 out of 3, but you get swept by the Padres. You come storming back down 2 runs in the bottom of the 9th or in the top of the 9th last night in LA. You come back, you win that game in the 9th inning against the Dodgers last night, and everybody automatically is up. Everybody is feeling better about themselves, right? So all is good. That is what I like to call momentum. And I realize that there are a lot of people in the sports world that don't think that's a thing, that your momentum is as good as your next day starting pitcher. And in this scenario, you have, I would say, your worst starting pitcher of the 5 in Robert Gasser going out there tonight for the Brewers. So, and he's going against Yamamoto. Not a great matchup for the Brewers. So I don't know how this is necessarily going to end tonight. But you can take this and you can look at it in the National Football League. You can take this and look at it in the NBA. If you're on a little bit of a losing streak and you're in a kind of a funk and you hit a buzzer beater to win, does that momentum then carry over to the next game? So that's what I want to ask you. Do you believe in momentum in sports? Do you believe that's a thing in team sports, whether it be basketball, baseball, football, hockey, soccer, whatever? Do you think a big moment in a game can create momentum to carry you for the next game or 2 of positive, good things happening for you in team sports? Are you a believer in momentum? Nikolai Law Talking text line 414-677-1250, 414-677-1250. Also, don't forget, you can stream us and watch us on YouTube, on X, on Instagram Live at WI Sports Radio. Also on the Fan Milwaukee Facebook page, all brought to you by Growth Law. Thanks to them for being a sponsor. That is all that I want to know from y'all. I just want to know. A lot of you listening have played team sports. A lot of you listening have played high school sports. A lot of you listening have played college sports. Maybe there's a couple of former pro players that are listening. You can text in. Don't have to give up your identity of who you are. Maybe you're a current player listening. All you got to do, text it, and you just tell us, do you believe in it? 414-677-1250, 414-677-1250. I believe in it. I have believed in it for as long as I can remember, regardless of guys like Ned Yost telling me I was nuts, and they never necessarily believed in it, and a lot of other former MLB managers and coaches over the years in Milwaukee always poo-pooed momentum, never bought into it. You're as good as your next day starting pitcher. You could win in a walk-off, and if your pitcher stinks the next day, it's over type deal. So a lot of people don't buy the momentum argument in baseball. In football and basketball, to be quite honest, I've never had the conversation expand to those two sports. But I think it does play into it, right? I mean, look at the Lions that one year. Where did they start off? Like 1-7 or 1-8 or something like that. And all of a sudden, they won like 7 or 8 or 9 games in a row to close out the season with Dan Campbell. And that was that momentum and building confidence and believing in yourself. And it just steamrolled all the way out the regular season. And then that propelled them what? To have a monster next season. So you saw it work there. So do you believe in momentum in sports, Charlie?
I do. I think it's something that I've seen as a former athlete throughout my time, that if you can get something going, even within a course of a game, if you can find out what's working for you as a team, that obviously is going to continue to work once you figure that out. If you can, unless the other team starts to counter that a little bit. And I think that works throughout the course of a season too. If you find your groove and you find out what works for you, it's not just a vibe thing, but it's a scheme thing. It's the right types of players in the right types of spots, making sure that the right things happen. And I think that's something that you can see on the field as a coach, as a teammate, and you can feel that work for you then for your vibe as a squad. And I think that's all huge. I think momentum is very real. And I think in baseball, sometimes people say, yes, your pitcher can blow up one day. But there's also a lot of guys on the field, a lot of guys playing in the course of a baseball game, and then a whole lot of games throughout the season. So I think momentum is more than just 1 to 2 games every once in a while. I think you have to look at momentum over the course of 2 weeks for some teams, over the course of a month, and say the fact that overall throughout this month they were 17-4, but yeah, those 4 games came at really weird times, and it made you kind of nervous about whether or not series were going to go the way you wanted or not. They still won overall a majority of those games. And I would say that overall is momentum. Because you have so many games, it skews a lot of people's perspective. In football and in basketball, you still have a lot of games, but I think sometimes you can still see teams go on those hot runs. You've seen teams have amazing records over the course of an entire season. But in football, I think you can see it the most in that sport. The fact that there are so few games compared to the other leagues, that when you are going on a run, it's because you can notice that they figured out that mojo. They figured out schematically what's gone right, and they are rolling with that, and that all together is momentum.
In your time playing, and I know your high school coach at Brick Central, his crazy behind. I don't know your college coach, but did they ever preach that? Did they ever kind of get behind that and kind of push that narrative?
Yeah, 100%. I think
when Mike McCarthy was here, he always talked about stacking successes, right? That's what it's all about. And when Jacob Morley was on talking about the kicker, Trey Smack, and talking about, Matt LaFleur and those guys talking about, hey, stacking good performances game after game, that is another way of saying continue to build that momentum.
Yeah, my coaches definitely went with that kind of mentality when you were a good team. I think, yes, Coach Kennedy at Brookfield Central, when we were playing really well, it was really easy to say, okay, just keep stacking on those small successes, because I think overall, you're going to have that larger success because you're a good team. You're a team that's had this type of success, momentum over the course of a few seasons. It's a lot easier then. I think at a smaller school at Elmhurst, where we were not nearly as successful, when you go into a lot of these games, yes, you want to stack successes, but it's about getting those successes first. Like, you can't stack anything if you don't have them in the first place. So everything is a very at the moment, one game at a time type of idea. And I don't think momentum is really on your mind when you just need to start getting going in general. So I think it depends on overall the success of the team from year in, year out.
All right, let's go to the Nicolay Law Talk and text line. I would love to hear from you as well. Do you believe in momentum in team sports? 414-677-1250, 414-677-1250. Coming off of last night, right? Brewers lose 3 in a row, get a big come-from-behind victory in L.A. last night. That's what kind of brought the topic up because, again, I've been with this radio station here in Milwaukee for, 21 years now, and I've had so many people in pro sports tell me I was nuts and momentum's not a thing in team sports. So I wanted to bring it to you all, the fans. From the 414, play baseball pretty much my whole life and went to college on a scholarship. I don't believe in momentum in soccer, but I do in baseball. Hey, 414, why don't you call the show if you can? I don't want you to get in trouble at work because I would really love to expand on that conversation. It's 414-677-1250, the same number you texted. Just call in, and I want to get your thoughts on why it doesn't work in soccer, but it works in baseball. I've never talked to somebody that's played soccer about that idea. From the 262, Vinny the Book. I'm texting E. Crow after my message for the post-game show last night. See, Vinny the Book, I didn't read your message last night on the post-game show. I avoided it because I didn't want to make fun of you or embarrass you, but it's okay. Vinny the Book says, I'm still in check. The Brewers came back to win that game. Now I
can read Vinny's message. It's
Go
still
ahead.
on
You
here.
got it.
Is there any surprise to why this game or to the way this game is going? This team will be lucky to make the playoffs. There's absolutely no momentum, absolutely nothing to make us think it will turn around.
Correct. And now today he says, I'm still in shock the Brewers came back to win that game. And I don't think I'm the only one who turned it off based on how things have been going. However, I will own up to my lack of faith and be very happy they pulled the game out. Fingers crossed this is the start of a turnaround because I still feel they're in big trouble based on recent activity. The problem is, Vinny the Book, is in baseball when you have 162 games and the season is 6 months, and that doesn't even include the spring training. That doesn't even include playoffs. It's so long. Every team is going to go through the ups and downs. The teams that are really, really good get out of those valleys quicker than the teams that aren't. The teams that are really, really good, stay at a consistently good level. Every team that is at a high end eventually hits that peak. And the key there is how long can you stay in that peak? Like the Cubs have been in a peak now for a while. And then when you come off of that peak, how much of a crash is there after that as far as being able to level off and then find out who you really are? That's why, like I've been saying, I'm not buying the Cubs are who we've seen. That's about as good as they can play.
They're winning, and by the way, right now 3-0 over the Cardinals.
They scored.
Seiya Suzuki had a 3-run home run.
Power. And we're going right back to that again. From the 414, absolutely. I coach high school basketball and have for a long time. And I've seen how momentum builds confidence and can carry from game to game. And I think it's true of the 3 big mainstream sports for sure from the 414. Talk about that from a different perspective, right? So if you're talking about a team sport where maybe you're struggling shooting free throws or you're struggling shooting the 3 or whatever, and you feel it just one game, you see the ball go in the bucket over and over and over again, one game, how much different that mentality and that confidence is going into that next game. And as we all know in team sports, confidence is the name of the game. That is how you succeed and play at a high level. If you are not confident when you walk onto a basketball court, if you walk up to hit a baseball in a baseball game or snap a ball in football or run around at wide receiver, if you're not confident, the odds of you not having a good result go way, way down. Way down. If you go in with a negative attitude and aren't confident what you're going to do. However, if you go in and you are super confident and you can almost visualize what's about to happen, your chances of success become much greater. And that all goes back to the momentum of having good things happening to you. And just take it in your life, for instance, right? We've all been there where you get into a window of your life where literally everything that could go wrong goes wrong. Literally everything. Car breaks down. This happens with this kid. That happens with this kid. Then something happens at your job, and you just are in a rut, and you just can't get out of it. And all you're doing at that point is you're surviving and advancing and trying to get to that next stage of your life, that next stage where things start to go better. That's all you're trying to do. It's no different than that in team sports. That when you get on a rut like the Brewers, you lose 3 games in a row to the Padres, and then you get that big come from behind victory last night against the Dodgers. You look to take that momentum and go forward. Now, if they lose that game last night, that's 4 in a row, and now you're like, oh, my God, they may get swept in this series against the Dodgers. You get that win last night. Now, tonight, Gasser versus Yamamoto, not the best. But you maybe get 3 or 4 now in this Dodgers series coming home feeling really good about things, and that road trip that they're on right now looks completely different at the end of the day, Charlie.
Well, and who knows? Robert Gasser has had some good performances this season, so maybe this is a night where he can get going a little bit too. This Brewers offense, maybe because they've been in a little bit of a funk for a while now, has a little bit of a breakout game too. Just like potentially everybody is afraid that the pitching's going to fall apart,
right?
Or like just hope that they're going to have that type of bounce back game because it's a long run, like we keep talking about. Let's head on over to the Nicolay Law Talk and Text line where KJ is on hold. KJ, you're on Wisconsin Sports Daily.
Hey, thank you, Charlie. Hey, Sparky, thanks for taking my call.
You bet,
yes,
buddy.
I do believe. I believe in momentum, Sparky. I think it's a little bit more nuanced in team sport. For me, it's attention to detail and execution. That's the biggest thing to keep momentum going. Because one bad play, as we saw a couple times in the San Diego series, can mess the whole game up. But I believe if you do pay attention to detail and you execute the way that you're supposed to, you can feed on that momentum going into the next game or next several games. The Brewers are really good at doing that typically, and I think it's not going to be something like they're going to lose like 7-8 games in a row. I don't. They're not that kind of team. They're the kind of team that they can bounce back because they do have attention to detail and they do play up that momentum.
That's good stuff, KJ. Thanks for the call. That's all we're looking for, right? We're just looking to have this conversation continue to expand. Steve in Germantown uses the Nicolay Law Talk and Text line. College and after baseball player here. Lack of momentum. Coming out flat and mopey is 100% a thing. Therefore, the opposite, positive momentum, is just another way to say confidence. Oh, no, that's the wrong one. Therefore, the opposite, positive momentum, has to be a thing from Steve in Germantown. Now, that's a guy that says he played college and a little bit of pro baseball as well in Germantown. And I agree with you on the other part of this, which is the lack of momentum, coming out flat and mopey. That can also be, dare I say, contagious, I guess you could say at the end of the day, Charlie, right? You got a couple guys pouting and down and not feeling good about themselves and not hustling and not doing that, and all of a sudden you're down a couple of points, now you're down a few more points, and then everybody else starts to fall into that same type of play. Look at the Milwaukee Bucks this last season. That was a big problem with that Bucks team this last season, and Doc Rivers could have get his team out of that fiasco that they were in. Giannis clearly wasn't doing anything to help the situation. The so-called leaders on the team weren't good leaders on the team like Kyle Kuzma. That was a complete mess. And again, that all goes back to it. They went the wrong way and couldn't get themselves out of the swirling decline that they got themselves in. And a lot of it came down to attitude and character and everything that goes along with it.
Yes, all the side things, the chemistry within that locker room is always huge. Just being able to, I think, have serious discussions. And we talk, going back to the Brewers, talk about that meeting they had the other night where they sit down with the team for about 15 minutes and just talk about, hey, we need to get back right. We need to be able to have these tough conversations saying we are not doing well right now.
Sure.
How do we pick ourselves back up? And I think you have to realize when people are starting to get mopey, starting to get down on themselves, not always is it just good to yell at them, but to lead by example and go out there and show that you're not down, that you can go and play really hard still too, that you're going to work your butt off in order to get back to a level of play that you're known for and that you're comfortable with, and that other guys may follow suit that way. Instead of just screaming at them or thinking that's going to work too, you're just going to rub them the wrong way that way, and that's going to change the dynamic of the locker room too.
No question. I got another text here. Being a high school coach for over 20 years, the better the players, the easier it is to gain momentum. If you have bad players and stink, you have no chance or minimal of gaining actual momentum. Believe me, I've coached a variety of teams over the years. That's probably true, right? You have a really, really bad team at any level, and there's too much talent on the other team. Night in, night out, night in, night out. Yeah, eventually that does become very difficult. However, I will counter with this. I firmly believe that momentum can win you games that you probably shouldn't win. That chemistry and that confidence and everything that goes along with it can win you more games than you're supposed to. And the translation to that is, did that coach get that team to overachieve? That's really what it comes down to. And people could say Taylor Jenkins got a couple of his Grizzlies teams when they were really young to kind of overachieve and play beyond expectations. Why do you think Pat Murphy has won the last 2 Manager of the Year awards? Because the national predictions, which don't believe in the Brewers, continuously put the Brewers worse than what they're actually going to be because they don't believe the Brewers have that much talent. And then when Pat Murphy brings them to 95, 96, 97 wins, he wins Manager of the Year. When in reality, he should not be winning Manager of the Year because it's pretty much the same talent year in and year out. And these dudes look at the roster and go, pretty much same roster. I think they're going to lose 10 more games. Why? Well, it's not that good. They had a year. But when you do it every year, you have to start to believe in how good the actual talent on the team is. And in this case, with the Milwaukee Brewers, clearly there's good enough talent. And that's why when people start freaking out and acting like the world is going to end, a lot would have to go wrong for this team to not win the division, miss the playoffs, and be watching the playoffs. And I mean, there would have to be either several injuries or a bunch of players implode all at the same time and stay imploded for a month and a half. Because right now, a bunch of offensive guys have stunk. Yelich last night had some hard hit balls. Now, is that going to translate in the next week to doubles and home runs and all of that? I don't know. We'll see. But now that's the type of stuff you look at and you hope that's what's about to occur to get this, what was a really good player, back to at least being average at some point.
Can I say, I'm not really like excited about Yelich's hard hit balls all that much because that's been a couple times over the past couple of weeks we've had games where he's had that.
Yep.
It looks to me more like he's just losing power overall. Like a lot of things are just landing at the warning track.
He hit one, deep last night.
Like, and it's happened a few times now. And people are like, oh, he's just getting close. Like he's just getting his swing back. No, like it feels like a guy who's aging a little bit and just doesn't have the same kind of control over that swing that we've seen in the past, even compared to last year. And last year he goes down with that injury and a lot of things change. So I think that has affected a lot of what's happening right now. Maybe not to the point where he's hurting from his back or that there's any problems with his back, but that it just altered how much strength he has in general.
I got another one here from the 7-on-5. High school and college most definitely believe in momentum. But one thing, especially that goes hand in hand with that, is confidence. Mentally in baseball, if you have those hard velocity hits like Murph stressed with Christian last evening, 105, but always they consistently get caught or go right at someone, you still are down, depression sets in, and you just can't get over the hump. Insert Contreras, Yelich, etc. Versus a little duck snort bleeder that drops in, your confidence picks up. Joey, like they're actually giving him a chance again. It's human nature from the 7-1-5. Can we talk about Joey Ortiz real quick?
Yeah, sure. We do have to hit a break soon. But.
Yeah. How about this stat? I saw this on X. Joey Ortiz since June 27th, 33 games, 330, 382 on base, 553 slugging, 4 homers, 15 RBIs, and 13 runs since June 27th. 330, I tell you, Charlie.
I'm bought in, man. I keep saying it. He should be playing most days at third base. And for some reason, it's taken the whole month for Pat Murphy to get to that point. Like, it's just so weird.
It is completely wild. It is Wisconsin Sports Daily, live from the Wisconsin State Fair, inside the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. And when you're leaving the Wisconsin State Fair, man, you're on your way home, right? You think, man, I'm still a little bit hungry. I mean, I ate a lot at the fair. I'm still a little bit hungry. Hey, right now at Wendy's, they're calling fall early with the new Apple Crumble Frosty Fusion. Because why wait for the calendar when you can start your favorite season today? Creamy vanilla frosty blended with spiced apple syrup and crunchy oat crumble. It's everything fall lovers crave in one cold, creamy spoonful. Available for a limited time at Wendy's. It is Wisconsin Sports Daily, live from the Wisconsin State Fair inside the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Steve Sparky Fiver with you, hanging out with you till 5 o'clock. Leadoff show before Brewers baseball tonight starts at 8 o'clock here on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network. Looking forward to that. And then after the last pitch, you make the switch like you have for 21 years to the franchise Tim Allen tonight. After the game will be on till 1 a.m. As we were last night. And then don't forget, tomorrow, game of the week on Fox. That is a 6 o'clock start tomorrow in L.A. The Miz takes to the mound for the Milwaukee Brewers. So we'll have leadoff show tomorrow, 5 to 6. And then we'll have the Potawatomi Sportsbook postgame show with Luis Almost from the Potawatomi Sportsbook tomorrow night from 8:30 to 10 o'clock. So looking forward to that. And then on Sunday, we're back out here for the leadoff show from 2 until 3. And then Tim Allen will join me out here at State Fair for the postgame show from 6 until 8 on Sunday. So looking forward to seeing everybody out here. Come by, say hi. And when you're out here, make sure to take advantage of checking out these Adirondack chairs that we have here. Man, they are slick. It's day 9. Our friends from the By the Yard are giving away $2,000 in-store credit towards your purchase of 4 custom Adirondack chairs and 2 side tables. To register to win, simply stop by the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network booth right outside of the Wisconsin State Fair Expo Center and scan the QR code. Make sure you get out here and do it. And then when the fair is all done and Sunday gets done at some point next week, they'll probably notify the winner that gets to take advantage of that. Very cool. Still to come, Charlie's Sounds of the Day coming up in the next segment. Still got some overflow coming in on text messages from the 414 on the Nicolay Law Talking text line. I am so sick of talking about the Flash's Yelich shows. He's cooked. Keep him on the bench. Let him lead from there. Charlie?
That's kind of where I'm at a little bit. Like, I'm not like as mean about it. Like, it just feels frustrating at this point, though. And Gary Sanchez, I don't want to see him at first base. I don't want to see him at catcher because he doesn't do either of those all that great. Yep. I want to see him at DH because he's been able to hit really well over the past few weeks, and he feels like the hot hand. Give him the chance there on a more consistent basis because, again, I just don't believe in a lot of this hard hit stuff that's happening lately with Yelich. It feels more like he's losing a little bit of his juice, and Gary looks just fine. So let's see what he can do in that role when he doesn't even have to think about defense because he's been hitting pretty well while also struggling to play defense.
No doubt. You know, we were talking about and have been talking about for a number of days about the Packers running back we don't talk about because he always gets hurt. And then for a while, Gary Mitchell couldn't stay healthy. Logan Henderson's been nicked up and hurt. Jefferson Caro has been hurt constantly in the minors, their catcher for the Brewers. Jonathan Lucroy, when he was coming up in the minors, he kept getting hurt. And a lot of guys. I'm not a Reds fan, but damn for Hunter Green, man. I mean, damn. That is 2 Tommy Johns back-to-back with barely a breath in between both of them. That is just horrible.
Did you see former Badgers quarterback Graham Mertz was carried off the field in the Texans preseason game the other day? It looks like it could potentially be another ACL injury after just suffering one last year.
That was last night, and he was limping. I don't think he got if he got carried off, the video I saw was him limping. So maybe he didn't make it to the sidelines. But, yeah, you feel bad, man. I mean, when that type of stuff happens, Graham Mertz is not Hunter Green, however. Let's not.
No, I'm not saying that,
Graham
but just
Mertz
another
Hunter
guy
Green.
that's attached to Wisconsin sports.
Well, sure. I get it gets up in my feelings a little bit more when you have greatness get affected and careers get ruined when you know that dude could be a potential Hall of Famer, multiple Cy Young winner. Like, that's how good that dude could be, Hunter Green. And to see it happen, just, man, it sucks because it robs everybody of seeing that greatness. And, dare I say, this is what some Brewer friends are like, it's going to happen to the Miz. It's going to happen to the Miz. This is what we keep telling you, Sparky. This is what's going to happen to the Miz. You better like it while we got it. I don't want to think about that stuff with the Miz, man. I don't. It doesn't even cross my mind when I'm watching him pitch. I'm like, I'm not thinking to myself, well, when's it going to happen? It's going to happen right now. It's going to happen this pitch. It's going to happen that pitch. I mean, I don't think like that. Some of y'all do. Some of y'all are like, it's not going to last. That's why we don't want to give him an extension and so forth. I agree with you on the extension part of it because I think giving long-term extensions to pitchers is highly, highly risky. If I'm giving long-term extensions to players, it is hitters. It is not pitchers. We've talked about that before. So that part of it I get. But you see the Hunter Green stuff, It just sucks. It really does. All right, take a quick time out. Come back on the other side. I want to get to Charlie's sounds of the day out here at the Wisconsin State Fair. We're actually going to get to it on time for once. Hey, you looking for a
Holy cow.
college? Huh?
I said, holy cow.
Holy cow, that's right. Looking for a college where you can excel in the classroom and on the field? At Bryan and Stratton College's Wauwatosa campus, you can compete in the NJCAA Division II athletics with more than 20 men's and women's teams to choose from. Keep playing the sport you love while earning your associate degree in business, healthcare, criminal justice, or digital marketing. Athletic scholarships are available for those who qualify. Visit bryanstratton.edu and discover how Bryan and Stratton College is built different for you. I'm telling you, it is that diamond in the rough that people around the rest of the state of Wisconsin are not aware of. And your kids who think they might be good enough to play Division I, those children are the ones that we should be going to Bryan and Stratton and going, hey, we want to come play with you. If we're good enough to play for you, maybe we can even get good enough to go after those 2 years to go to a Division I program. Maybe, just maybe, when we go to that Division I program, we're already going to have a degree in our back pocket. We're already going to be educated and ready for that next facet of life if we don't end up being pro sports players. And because you can get scholarship money, Bryan and Stratton, it's not going to cost you nearly as much as it would going other places. I'm telling you, Bryan and Stratton, I don't care if you're in Wausau, Duluth, Green Bay, Appleton, Madison, listening on the Fan, wherever you may be, this is something you should strongly consider and look into for your children. Without question. Check them out, bryanstratton.edu. Wisconsin Sports Daily, live from the Wisconsin State Fair inside the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Sparky with you. Welcome back. We are live at the Wisconsin State Fair inside the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Sparky with you, Charlie Usen, doing his thing back in the studio, left behind, left out, all by himself in the radio station. I do feel bad. People keep coming out here and thinking our promotions guy, Will, is you. Are you Charlie? No, he's not Charlie. No.
Will's like just a little bit of a shorter version of me, I guess, kind of to some degree. I can see how people would confuse us. He's got a beard and longer hair and stuff. Like, it's close enough. Yeah, I can see it. Yeah, I can see it.
Maybe.
Exactly.
Yeah, maybe.
See,
but you know what the biggest difference is, I think?
What's that?
Hey, Will, are you a Bears fan? Yeah, he is. Oh, that's unfortunate.
Yeah,
so maybe that is your long lost illegitimate
Exactly.
brother or something like that. I don't know. All right, time for your segment. Let's go.
What sound clips will Chicago Charlie pick today for Sparky? Will Sparky become enraged? Will laughter ensue? It's time for Charlie's Sound of the Day. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network.
All right, so here we are. Charlie's Sounds of the Day. Do we have a theme today? Is the theme let's piss off Sparky? Is the theme we're going to talk Badgers or Brewers or do we have a theme or are we just all over the place?
We're a little all over the place. I got two Packers clips and then a Brewers clip. I guess the theme is reacting to last night a little bit. That would be the theme. The first one is Manti Te'o on Good Morning Football.
Te'o.
Yeah, what?
He's still on. He's still in the media?
He's still there, even after all of ESPN's crazy firings.
Why?
He's still hanging around.
Why? Okay, go ahead.
All right, this is Manti Te'o. I cut out one first part that I thought maybe you would think was more Plead the Fifth-esque.
Good.
But this second part is more Charlie Sounds of the Day.
That's what's going to have to carry them. And I was very impressed by Jonathan Gannon, their new defensive coordinator, because when he did get the job, he talked a lot about, I'm going to adjust to my personnel. Jonathan Gannon, as a defensive coordinator, doesn't blitz. Well, last night, I saw blitzing. Last night, I saw a mug front. A mug front is when you see all the linebackers come to the line of scrimmage, and you have like 7 guys lined up at the line of scrimmage. You really don't see that in preseason. Some defensive coordinators want to keep their stuff under wraps. Well, as you see, number 27, that's a DB. That's not a DN. He's coming to blitz the quarterback. So Jonathan Gannon practiced what he preached. Jonathan Gannon did what he said he was going to do when he became the defensive coordinator of the Green Bay Packers. He said, hey, listen, what did you guys do well last year? That was get exotic fronts and blitz the quarterback, and that's what we saw last night. So he needs to continue to do that because as we know, KB, from this training camp, Michael Parsons isn't going to be available until later on in the season. So keep that pressure, keep that mentality, and if he continues to structure this thing around his players, I think their defense will do pretty good in this division, KB.
Manti Te'o brought up the fact that normally Jonathan Gannon's teams don't blitz. Jonathan Gannon in Philadelphia in the 21 season, his team blitzed 17.4% of the dropbacks, ranking 31st, second lowest in the NFL. In 2022, before he got the Cardinals job, ticked up slightly to 21.9% blitz rate, ranking 18th in frequency, while leaning heavily on a 4-man rush that generated 70 sacks. I'm going to see if I can help Manti Te'o. Maybe I'll be wrong, and this won't happen the first 4 or 5 weeks while they don't have Micah Parsons. You don't have enough talented dudes up front to rush 4 and think they're getting home on a consistent basis. You don't. You're going to have to blitz, the linebackers. You're going to have to blitz safeties. You're going to have to blitz corners. He's not an idiot. He knows if you don't get pressure on the quarterback, they're going to get carved up. There's no question. And I don't really care if it's Cisse, if it's Valentine, if it's Nixon. If you're giving the other quarterback 4 to 5 seconds to throw that football because you can't get home, there's not many corners in the league they're going to hang running around the wide receiver for that long and be able to cover him consistently. On a play, maybe. Consistently for 4 quarters, no chance. You're going to get carved up. So he's going to have to probably blitz because of personnel that he's been given, Charlie.
Yeah, I think this is a huge opportunity for Jonathan Gannon to come out here and prove why he got this job, why a lot of Packers fans should stop being as skeptical of Gannon. I know we don't hear him talk very much and that he's a failed head coach at this point, but that he can really be an important part of this team. And I think by being creative, by giving Edgerrin Cooper opportunities to make plays behind the line of scrimmage more often, and then also working with Zaire Franklin and both those guys and using them in different creative ways, I think that is all huge for this defense. And I think it'll also give a lot of these other defensive ends one-on-one looks that will offer them opportunities to then pick up their production as well. I think this is the best way to go about it. And if we do see at any point throughout these first 5 games, you not rushing more than 4 guys, that is going to be a problem. And that is a truly missed opportunity for Jonathan Gannon.
Right. I mean, if they go into week 1 against Minnesota rushing 4 and he's not going to blitz, Kyler Murray, J.J. McCarthy, Charlie Usen, you give them that much time, it's going to be a problem for the secondary for this team. It just is.
Maybe not J.J. McCarthy.
But that's the other thing I want to see. With halfway, and when it's a mobile quarterback, what did we do? We played patty cake at the defensive line and offensive line, right? We're not going to bring pressure from the edges because we want to contain the running quarterback so he doesn't get out and gash us for big yards. So we hardly ever pressured a running quarterback until the second half of a game. Normally about the fourth quarter, Hafley would finally start to tighten the screws on him a little bit and go after him. What will Jonathan Gannon do with running quarterbacks as a defensive coordinator and as a play caller? I can but guarantee you Franklin in the middle is going to be the spy because he can get out and run. So he's going to be the spy for the quarterback, but how much pressure will they bring? That's something that we still have to wait and find out. All right, Charlie, Sounds of the Day continues. What else?
Next up, we're going to head on over to SiriusXM MLB Radio, where Chris Jimenez was discussing the Brewers' win over LA last night.
That's the type of win that can, again, like get you going back on the right track. I mean, everybody uses the Dodgers as the litmus test. Like if you can beat them, you can beat anybody. I'm not necessarily worried if I'm the Dodgers, even though you would, if you're, Dave Roberts, you would love to see your $20 million closer be able to close out a 3-run lead. And unfortunately, it didn't happen. And you could kind of tell, I think, Doc's displeasure when he went out to take the ball from Diaz. Like, he didn't even, wait to get on the mound. Like, he was just like, give me that thing and get the heck out of here. Like, he was upset. And I get that. All things considered, this is that type of win that can get the Brewers back on track. Because to your point, they really haven't been playing their style of ball. They haven't been pitching well. And for the first 8 innings last night, they didn't really pitch well either. I mean, Max Muncy came in off the bench, pinch hit, bomb. The Dodgers kind of did Dodger things, and you were like, all right, man, this game's over. Just like most of us thought the same thing until,
So the Brewers rallied back.
That's where he ended the clip. Yep.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Until they rallied back and won the game. That's exactly it. That goes back to what we were talking about with the momentum, right? Does this help turn it around for the Brewers and get going again? I mean, think about it. By Monday, the Cubs could be down 6 games again, just like that. Bing! And all of a sudden, it's like, oh, well, Cub fans were really excited there for a minute, and now they're right back down to 6 games and looking up again like they were previously. And that little spurt that gained them a couple of games all of a sudden disappeared, and they got to start right back from scratch again. That's the thing. Now, it's not as easy as just winning games. You need the Cardinals to help. They got to beat the Cubs. You got to beat the Dodgers in order to climb that hill again. The Cubs at last check were winning. Did they finish that thing off? Did they actually end up beating the Cardinals? They were up 3-0.
I believe, yeah, that was last I checked. Let's see, I don't have the score popping up on my phone anymore, so I would say it's over. Yeah, top of 9th, 1 out, 3-0 Cubs right now.
But there is hits in that game for the Cardinals.
They had 2 hits last time I checked. It looks like that is still
at one point in that game. Now. At one point in that game, both pitchers didn't allow a hit. So I was just curious to see if that ended up going that way. All right, third and final clip.
I don't know if we'll have time for. We're about to have to go to break here in almost a minute.
What is it?
52, 53, 54, 55, 56.
What are you talking about? No,
man.
The
time?
What is the cut? What does the cut talk about?
It's Matt LaFleur discussing losing Tucker Kraft last season.
Oh, gotcha.
Well, you asked what it is. That's when
fine.
I asked what we need to get close to break.
We can have some of that coming up next because Green and Gold Update is coming up next. Plead the Fifth, brought to you by Habish and Rotier. Comes up at 4:20. Your time to nominate somebody. Tell them just to hush it up and keep it to themselves at 4:20. And then we follow the money with Austin Herdania from the Potawatomi Sportsbook coming up at 440. See Sparky Pfeiffer with you. We are live from the Wisconsin State Fair inside of the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Don't go anywhere.
Some shows talk about one team. Other shows barely talk sports. This show will talk Packers, Brewers, and Bucks. Every day. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily with Steve Sparky Pfeiffer on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network.
Live from the Wisconsin State Fair inside the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Steve Sparky Pfeiffer with you. Come on out, hang out, do your thing out here. And when you come over and see us, we're right by the Expo Center across from the Milk House. Come say hi. And when you're here, you got to check out what our friends got all set up here. We got a couple of Adirondack chairs set up right at some green turf in front of where we're broadcasting. Come sit down, listen to the show, check out the chairs. And then our friends from By the Yard are giving away a $2,000 in-store credit towards your purchase of 4 custom Adirondack chairs and 2 side tables. To register to win, simply stop by the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network booth right outside of the Wisconsin State Fair Expo Center and scan the QR code. Plus, we do have a couple of free fans still left to give away as well while supplies last.
Did we find more?
Or
was that still just the 2 you had from earlier?
No, there was another stack, but it was like
hiding.
all piled up inside of a headset that Mitch had.
Okay.
So I thought those were saved for somebody. So I just thought we were out. Well, then somebody comes walking up, and Will, our promotions guy, is like, "Here you go. Do you want one?" And then he takes them all out and puts them on the table. So we got 4, 7. We got 9 of them.
Oh, you got plenty. All right.
We have an
perfect.
hour. We have 9 of them left. You can come get them. I'm not giving all 9 to one person though. Well, you got kids and stuff. They like using them as frisbees and tossing them around or whatever. So
Unless you
come
have
on over,
9
stop
really
by.
good disguises and can fool Sparky, and then you can get 9 free fans.
Not hard to fool Sparky. He'll tell you that. Q over there in the Dugout YouTube chat from earlier in the last hour. Sparky, how many cups of milk have you had from the milk station this week? It's a Milk House, number 1. Q was out here, too. He came out here and said hi. It says Milk House.
It does. You knew
Right
what
there.
he was talking about. Why are you
Right
getting over the
there, man.
semantics of
Milk
what
House.
it's called? You know what you're talking about. There's
He
only
does
one milk
that-
place, man.
Stop being a parent. He does that same stuff to me, Dad. I'm going to do it to him, too. Stop.
That's fair.
The answer to that question is 0. I've not had a single cup.
Not
No.
a single one. And you've been
As I
telling
told
people
you.
that, like,
As I've told you, I am not doing anything without my family at least experiencing it one time. So when I get off there at 5 o'clock, before I do the leadoff show at 8, my family is here. I think they're over looking at the animals. I think we're doing the Sky Glider when I get off the air. We're going to definitely go get some milk because my 10-year-old wants milk. So we're going to, because they're waiting for me too. So we'll go do the milk. We're going to go do the aqua massage as well. And this dude, Nick, stopped by and he's like, "Sparky, I heard you talking about the aqua massage." I said, "Yeah, I'm going to go do it when I'm done." He's like, "Here you go, man. Give me a $5 off coupon for the aqua
Nice
massage
score.
inside." I was like, "Okay, Nick, thank you very much, man. My guy taking care of me."
Score, dude.
This dude's a longtime listener. He's like, "Man, I listened to you since back in the Peter Brown days." Peter Brown was the first afternoon show host on 1250 in Milwaukee on WSSP back in 2005.
Wow.
So
I was
he's
4 years old.
2005. That's how long he's been listening
Sparky
to
was
us.
70.
No, was or is?
Was in 2005.
I was not 70 in 2005, you funny guy. All right, it's 4 o'clock. Let's go.
It's time for your green and gold update on Wisconsin Sports Daily, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network with Steve Sparky Pfeiffer.
All right, here we go. Let's go see what we have here. Charlie Usen, what would you like?
All right, let's hear from Matt LaFleur today because I'm sure there's plenty of great stuff coming out of there. Sparky, I'm just going to play it and let you stop me whenever you're ready to react. I'm sure
Oh,
I can
Lord.
see.
Where Jordan Morgan gets out, and I think it was a DB, but he just put him on his back and really finished that block. Is his physicality what you wanted, like what you want from that whole group? Is that a good example of it?
That is what the expectation is. And it's funny you bring that play up because I'm going to show that one tomorrow. And, you know, that's something that we've definitely been stressing to not only the offensive line, but to every position. It's football's an imperfect game, but the thing that you do control is your effort and physicality. And that is a play that I'm going to highlight tomorrow.
Overall play yesterday, what did you see from him in that regard?
I thought he played pretty well. So I was happy with his performance. And, you know, I know it wasn't a complete game, but that's something to build on for him.
All right, stop it right there. Okay, so let's go back to the first comment that Matt LaFleur made about Jordan Love there. Did you see the play that he's talking about where he drills this dude, I think it was a corner, pushes him on the ground, and then, like, in my opinion, like spears him while he's on the ground to kind of like finish the dude off, right? Like trying to end him and finish him. You're a former offensive tackle, college guy. How many times have you done that in your career where you clearly knock a guy down and then you're like, I'll hit him one more time. I'm going to go down on the ground and nail him again.
I wouldn't say I did that too often. Like, that was never my mentality for the most part. I was more definitely kind of trying to focus on my technique a lot of these moments. And if I could just drive somebody 15 yards, that's more impressive than just putting them in the dirt all the time sometimes. Like, just being able to control the block and have that type of mentality. I've had teammates that definitely went in with that type of vibe, and then it usually results in some kind of fight. In a preseason game, I'm sure a lot of these guys, especially a cornerback that's maybe a more veteran player or somebody who's trying to fight for a roster spot, needs to kind of keep his cool a little bit more in that situation. And that's a different kind of vibe than a regular season game, where I think that guy probably would have taken more offense to Jordan Morgan doing that for sure.
I enjoyed it. I mean, that's a little bit of a nasty that we
need to see from him.
I shouldn't say we haven't seen it. I haven't seen it. So if it's on film, I'm not sitting here watching all 22 every week. So if he has done stuff like that in the past in Green Bay, I haven't necessarily seen it. That's good, right? I mean, that's the type of mentality that you want your offensive lineman to play with, Charlie. Jacob Morley was on earlier from the Packer Report back at in the 2:00 hour, and he talked about he's not really all that impressed with the center or the guard position currently inside. Not impressed with Monk, not impressed with Sean Ryan, and either one of those guys. With those interior guys, you really want them to be nasty because those are the guys that are in the tight spaces boxing with defensive linemen, trying to keep them away from your quarterback and trying to shove them out of the way so your running backs have some room. And if they can't bring the nasty and they can't bring that physicalness, then it's not going to work probably.
No, I think that's more so the position that you see that type of mentality come through with a tackle. I think sometimes you get the guys that are a little bit more calculated. You're on an island a lot more. You have to kind of think about what you're going to do and whether or not being on the ground in a certain spot is going to mess up the play, because that is all things you have to think about. I think with the interior offensive line, as much as you don't want to be on the ground and always cause a pile, because that doesn't really create great lanes for the running back, you still want to be able to go out there and say, hey, I'm the stronger dude, I'm the better guy. And if your guy does end up on the ground in the middle of the play, you're not going to get yelled at for that. You're just going to say, hey, maybe try to find a way to drive that guy a little bit farther before you put him in the dirt. Find a way to move that guy out of the way of the gap before you put him in the dirt. But your coach is still going to pat you on the butt a little bit, and you need that. I think with this group, what we're seeing from Jordan Morgan right now, in my opinion, is somebody who feels comfortable at a position finally. And is a guy that's going into a spot where he doesn't have to think as much. And because you don't have to think as much, you can go out there and play with a little bit more recklessly, knowing that your body has gone through this before and has done this. You have that muscle memory of the position. I think with Sean Ryan, I think with Anthony Belton to some degree, I think with Jacob Monk, wherever you play those guys, none of them really truly feel comfortable in that group they've played in that spot they played in, because they haven't consistently played in any of these spots for an entire season with the Green Bay Packers. So it's all going to feel weird, and they're all going to be thinking about it. It's all going to be on the top of their mind. And then they're not going to be able to have that same kind of nasty mentality because they have other things that they need to focus on before just being mean.
He is Charlie Using. Steve Sparky Fifer with you. We'll continue on hearing from Matt LaFleur from earlier this afternoon. This was going on while we were on the air doing Wisconsin Sports Daily. I'm waiting for the Aaron Banks piece that Jacob Morley flagged us on earlier in the show. All right, go on.
Is Banks going to get that left guard job back when he's healthy, or is Burton maybe making your guys' decision?
I think he's going to make it extremely difficult. I think Jagger has done a really good job. I think not only him, but Monk. And so, he hasn't been out there, so it's hard to say.
Matt, did he have a procedure done between the offseason program and the start of camp? Because he was talking about how healthy he felt in OTAs.
I'll let him answer that.
What? Listen with this. Stop it. Stop it. What are we doing? Why are we playing games for? This is that same crap as, Well, I don't want the referees to raise their hands to let the media know if a guy kicks a field goal or not. Now we're playing the game of, I'm not going to tell you if he had a procedure done.
I'll let him answer that.
What do you
basically
mean?
translates to, yes, you ask him about it, because it's something that maybe we weren't happy about. That's what I hear. Throughout this whole thing, it sounds like him and Aaron Banks and the Green Bay Packers have not been communicating a lot with each other. Most notably, probably Aaron Banks with the Green Bay Packers and Matt LaFleur, and he went and had a procedure done, hasn't been there, but hasn't been around the team, and now Matt LaFleur wants you to ask him about it instead of him.
I want to make this very clear. They're screwed. They can't get rid of him this year. The cap hit's $12 million. The dead cap number is like $36 million. So they're not getting rid of Aaron Banks this year. Next year, they're not getting rid of Aaron Banks either, because it's 26 and 27 or something like that contract to. So it's a huge cap hit next year. I don't want to accuse Aaron Banks of this. So I'm going to talk in more broad generalities. In pro sports, in any pro sport, baseball, basketball, hockey, probably soccer, I don't know. Sometimes you sign a big contract. Sometimes that will isn't there anymore once you got that big paycheck. Sometimes that want to dies with that first big paycheck. And when that happens, team's screwed. Coaches are screwed. Everybody's screwed. I've seen it happen in the Bucs organization multiple times. I'm just telling you, I don't know if that's what's going on. He could be legitimately hurt, have a legitimate procedure and all that. But when you hear Matt LaFleur disgusted by that and acting the way he's acting, that is a big-time issue for this team. Because you spent and then redid his deal on top of that to guarantee him here through this season and all of next season before you can move on for him. Then you can get away from a little bit and save some money, but you're stuck with this cat for the next 2 years. And you've got to figure out, how can I motivate and push him? Matt LaFleur, to me, sounds like he's at desperate measures right now. So now he's going to try and do it through the media, because clearly it ain't working with the dude one-on-one. So now we're going to try and put some pressure on him through the media and through the fans to see if we can get him going that way. That is not a good sign for the Green Bay Packers, Charlie Usen.
No, it's not. And especially when we continue to talk about the questions about everybody else at those other positions, at center, at guard. He's a guy that's supposed to be the one that helps keep it solid on at least one of those spots. Now, all of a sudden, you got questions at 3 different positions, and he and Sean Ryan's, I think, kind of lack of being able to take that next step, which I forecasted already, that this is something that feels like grass is always greener on the other side. Yep. It's no Elgton Jenkins. You put somebody else in there. Sean Ryan performs good enough, and you're happy with that. And all of a sudden, now that he's the full-time guy, you're like, ooh, maybe that was just good enough. That happened with Rasheed Walker. You don't want to have these questions on your offensive line when that is clearly the one question everybody was asking about your organization going into this season.
I totally agree with you on that. How much more is left in this? You said it's 8 minutes long?
Yeah, we got 7 minutes left.
I'm done with it. I don't know.
That's all you wanted to hear is Aaron Banks one.
Yeah, I just wanted to hear Aaron Banks. I don't care about the rest of it. Hey, did you? I'm assuming you got the text message as well, group text.
I did.
Peacock has chimed in. Our guy Jack Pembroke from back in the day. Sparky needs the root beer milk. I agree with you. I'm going to get me some root beer milk.
Well,
Peacock.
Tell your family to come back now so you guys can go and get some milk real quick.
Well, the update from my family is my 4-year-old is screaming bloody murder in the animals building currently because she's scared of the animals.
Yeah. Shocker.
Which
animals? Which animals?
All of them.
Every single. There's not a single one she thinks is cute or likes the bunnies. Did you go in the bunny house?
I'm not there. I don't know. But I just got a text that she's screaming bloody murder and screaming for you to get her out of there. But I can't do anything. I'm on the radio on the other side of State Fair. I can't do much for you. Sorry there. So I guess I won't be going over to look at the animals with her when I get off the air. I don't think that is
or
going to happen.
Maybe she'll be more calm with you with animals.
Well, yeah, that's probably the hope of everybody involved in this, that that's
Yeah,
exactly
exactly.
what will happen. Let me tell you about my friends over there at Wendy's and the Wisconsin Timber Rattlers. Want to score a free Wendy's Frosty Classic this summer? When the Wisconsin Timber Rattlers, proud A-high affiliate of the Milwaukee Brewers, record 10 strikeouts in a game, you can go to any Wisconsin Wendy's and get a free small Frosty Classic. Follow the Wisconsin Timber Rattlers on X or Instagram as they post after every game with 10 strikeouts. The offer is good for 24 hours following the game. Time to plead the fifth. Brought to you by Havish, and Rotier. Nominate your person right now who you want to plead the fifth. 414-677-1250. 414-677-1250. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily live at the Wisconsin State Fair inside the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Sparky with you. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily, live from the Wisconsin State Fair, inside the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. See Sparky Pfeiffer with you. Let me tell you about my friends over there at the Potawatomi Sportsbook. 2 levels of seating, all kinds of different levels, right? Big booths can feed like 8 people or so inside the booth. Then you've got table, high top tables. You've got recliners, big black leather recliners. First 2 rows, looking up at this 2,000 square foot center screen, can show 30 different events at one time. Full menu at the Potawatomi Sportsbook Kitchen, all day brunch. You're talking hot dogs, wraps, burgers, salads, steak and eggs in the all day brunch, pancakes, you name it, they've got it. Over 40 beers on tap, a dozen different specialty cocktails, homemade pastries and desserts made every day at the Potawatomi Casino Hotel, Milwaukee. Check them out today. Go to Potawatomi.com. And don't forget, free shuttles to and from Brewers home games. Make sure to take advantage of that too. Again, Potawatomi.com. All right, it's that time on a Friday. Let's go.
It's a Plead the Fifth Friday, sponsored by Habush and Rotier. Who should have just kept their mouths shut? Who made a bad decision commenting on a topic they shouldn't have? Let's hear who you think should plead the fifth this week on Wisconsin Sports Daily. Served up by Wendy's with Steve Sparky Pfeiffer.
All right, your chance to nominate somebody and plead the fifth. 414-677-1250. 414-677-1250. Charlie, where are we starting today?
All right, so first up here, I wanted to play that little extra bit of Manti Te'o that I said got him on to plead the fifth here. This is a short clip, but I think it's enough to do the job.
Their best player yesterday, in my opinion, was Trey Smack, the sixth-round kicker out of Florida. They have one of those. In a time where there's a Cam Little and Brandon Aubrey, they got themselves a kicker.
And then he went to talk about the defense immediately after that.
Okay, listen here. Can we stop with the Aubrey comparison? Can we please stop with the Aubrey comparison? He hasn't kicked in a regular season game yet. Can we please stop comparing him to really, really good kickers? Was he impressive last night in Pittsburgh? Yes, he was. No doubt. 57, 58, doing his thing, balling out. That's great. This is the thing. You're going to have to kick in Lambeau, in the snow, in the wind, in the cold. Let's see him do that, get through that. Then you can start comparing him to great kickers, Hall of Fame kickers, and all of that. I'm not saying he's not going to be good. He very well may be great. He very well may be a Pro Bowler this year for all I know. I don't know. This I do know. This is too early to have this conversation comparing him to other great kickers in the NFL after one freaking preseason game. Please, please, for the love of God, stop and let the kid just kick. Let him be great if he's going to be great. Don't put all this nonsense on him, please.
Well, and Manti must not have been paying attention to any of the other reports coming out of Packers Twitter throughout training camp, talking about him missing kicks left and right, Matt LaFleur having to stop signal whether or not the kick is going through. Like, if he was really paying attention to this, he'd be like every other Packers fan who watches that game and goes, okay, that's a step forward. That's cool. You like to see your kicker kick in those live situations. I said that last week, I think, that the kicker is probably the most important position for the preseason, and the guy that needs the preseason the most, because he needs to be in that spot, be ready to kick in those types of conditions, that type of atmosphere. So I think it's huge. He was really good in there. At the same time, let's pump the brakes a little bit. This is, yes, exciting to watch him have that one game, but if you knew what was happening before this, you wouldn't be as excited. Next up, we're going to head on over to the Jim Rome show. This is not because Jim Rome needs to plead the fifth. He was speaking on a person that I think does need to plead the fifth a little bit, at least stop what he's doing with LSU. This is Jaden Daniels telling LSU that they need to cease and desist using his jersey number 5 and his name, image, and likeness after they gave it to DJ Pickett, a freshman cornerback.
Look, I get that you feel disrespected. I get that the other 2 Heisman winners never had to see anybody else wear their jersey. But is it really that important? Is it really the hill that you want to die on? Is it really worth burning down your bridge back to Baton Rouge? It's actually too late, right? Because you've already dug your grave with that profoundly butthurt statement. You know how tough it is to make Lane Kiffin seem like the reasonable one? Bad read, bro. That's like splitting the numbers of the defender in the ReliaQuest Bowl that you sat out and having him house it to win that game. Not only is that not the hill to die on, but you dug yourself a nice shallow grave right there. So go ahead and lie in it. Because if you're lucky, time will heal this wound, this misstep, if you're lucky. And even then, it's going to take a hell of a long time.
This is the thing. I think it's crazy that he's trying to get somebody to take off his jersey and not wear it. Can you explain something to me? I mean, I'm not trying to take Jaden Daniels' side in all this.
Mm-hmm.
But if I was that kid,
yeah,
no problem, man. Give me a different jersey number. We don't need all this. I don't give a damn who cares? If it's that big a deal to you, man, you're in the league, you're great, no problem. I'll find a different number. Doug, go pick a different number. Why is this continuing to be a thing? Just give up your jersey, kid. Go pick a different number. If Leroy Butler said, hey, man, I don't want anybody else wearing 36, and God knows they put some not great players in that number since he's retired. They put somebody in that number, and Leroy's like, man, please stop giving my jersey out, right? If I'm that guy in the NFL, I was like, hey, man, you're good. I'll pick a different number. I'll wear 26. I don't need 36. Right? Just call it. Hey, be done with it. Why doesn't this kid just end it? Or better yet, why doesn't the head coach just end it and take the jersey away from the kid and call it a day and give him somebody else? Who cares? There's a million jersey numbers. It's not like, well, if he doesn't have this jersey number, he can't play because we're out of numbers.
Because it's not Lane Kiffin's fault that the kid has number 5. It's the past head coaching administration. Lane Kiffin has nothing to do with that. He can't just take a jersey away from the kid. That's not fair.
What year is he? What year is this kid?
This kid is a freshman. He's coming.
And it is Lane Kiffin's fault.
He's an incoming freshman that was recruited before Lane Kiffin's administration.
I don't give a damn. Lane Kiffin is the current head coach. It is your fault, Lane. You need to step in and take that jersey away from that kid and end this. Because if you don't want to do it, then yes, Jaden Daniels is going to look like an idiot for pursuing this, and Jaden Daniels is going to catch a lot of flack. And I understand that. But this could go away with simply cocky, arrogant Lane Kiffin ending it and saying, you know what? I don't need all this nonsense. I got bigger fish to fry. Dude, you got to switch your number. That's it. We're done. I don't want to deal with this side. I don't want to do the sideshow. I got to go out there and try and compete for a national championship in my first year, because if I don't, people are going to want me fired. So I don't need this distraction. You're switching numbers. Next. All right, let's move on. Like, the fact that he's allowing this to carry on is ridiculous.
Or why doesn't he just go? Because they have the whole tradition with 7 being that captain number, the best player on the team. Like, if the guy who wears 7, that's you're the leader of the squad. Just say that 9 is the Joe Burrow number, and that the next guy, like, that's another type of leader. Make it an honor to wear 7, 5, 7, and 9. Just make it that easy. Say that, and then you can make Jaden Daniels happy. Say, hey, it's technically kind of retired. Your face is going to be on the wall with number 5 next to it. It's your number, but it's going to go to our top athlete because you were one of the greatest athletes to ever play at LSU, and we could do that. And Joe Burrow gets the leader number, and you're the top leader. You're a senior who's been around a while. You've come in and taken that leadership. It'd be that easy, but they don't do that. Like, this just feels like such a stupid situation.
Just bring Charlie in. Charlie can come in and be the mediator. He doesn't charge much. He just wants a bunch of food from Wendy's, and he's good to go.
And I want to wear number 5. Yes.
And of course you want to wear number 5. Funny. He's got jokes too. Not a stand-up comedian, but he is funny. All right, where to next?
Next up, we're going to head on over to ESPN New York, where Michael Kay was on his own show discussing how he thinks A-Rod could still make the Hall of Fame.
He, Bonds, and Clemens, right? They've all been stuck. I think the most that they got in terms of the voting is 40%. Now, A-Rod still has some time, and maybe the voting block becomes more forgiving as the older guys die off and younger people get the vote. Maybe. I don't know. That's why I've told Alec, I said it on the air, and I've said it to him privately. Come back for one at bat. I'm sure the Marlins would love to pack the place. He's in unbelievable shape. He's in the same shape he was in when he played. Come back for one at bat. If you come back for one at bat, then you restart the clock. Then it takes 5 more years before you're eligible for the Hall of Fame. And then you got 10 more years of being on the ballot. That gives you 15 more years if you get one at bat. Right now, his clock is running. He's almost out of time. And I don't think he's going to make it up to 75% to get in. I've said this to Alex, too. If Alex never did performance-enhancing drugs, we would be talking about him as one of the greatest players who ever lived.
How do you know?
Exactly.
How do you know that? You don't know that. You're guessing. Well, if Ryan Braun didn't juice, we'd be talking about him. You don't know. Like, for Braun, you don't know if he did it with Miami Hurricanes, for God's sakes, when he was in college. You don't know how that impacted everything. I do know this much. After it stopped, wasn't the same guy anymore. Didn't have all that anymore, did he? No.
Mm-mm.
Stop with this. Now, that Alex Rodriguez take, who was that again? Who did you say that was?
That was, oh my gosh, why did I just blank? Michael Kay. Yeah.
Michael Kay.
Yep.
Yankees announcer. Okay. So let's know who we're talking about here. I think it's a horrible idea, but it's brilliant. It's brilliant because I think he's right in the aspect of, as these old writers die off, these younger guys don't care about steroids, don't care about cheating. They're all about it. Who cares if you cheat? Just entertain me. Who cares? So these younger writers that got jobs now, they're going to vote these guys in. They're going to vote Bonds in. They're going to vote them all in. They all ought to come back and take it at bat and sign somebody for a one-day contract. And do the Giants sign Bonds, have them come up there, stand up, take a walk, whatever, go sit back down and try and stall this thing out as long as possible to make yourself eligible. It's not a bad idea. It's going to make a mockery of the game, obviously.
Exactly.
But if you're rolling the dice that these young guys are going to get you in, and I think Michael Kay is right, I guess you could do it. I don't think Barry Bonds is going to go embarrass himself by putting on a uniform.
He says,
and I don't think
he says he
A-Rod's
can
gonna
still
do
hit.
anything.
He said he could still hit MLB pitching. That's what Barry Bonds. I think I played that played the fifth earlier in the year.
Understand. Barry Bonds has never lacked confidence a day in his life. Nope. He walked out of his mama's womb talking crap to everybody. So that dude is never, ever going to be a guy that's going to lack confidence. Michael Kay is right. He could restart the clock and get himself more time to try and outlive the writers that aren't going to put him in. But I do think in the next 20 years, all of these steroid guys will be in the Hall of Fame because these young cats are going to put them all in. Watch. That's what I
can
think
see
is
that.
gonna happen.
I got one more. This is not a sound clip, but just a quote from a podcast that is behind a paywall and you can't find the clip anywhere. This is Fightful Wrestling saying that WWE has inquired about the involvement of Milwaukee Brewers pitcher Jacob Mizorowski, goes by the nickname The Miz, for WWE Raw on September 28th in Milwaukee. That's from WrestleVotes Radio on the Fightful Select podcast. The current idea is to do a play on Mizorowski's connection to Mike The Miz Mizanin, however you say his last name.
Nobody cares how you say his last name.
They want him to do it right before the playoff.
Right. This is the wrestler, The Miz, who came on McAfee show, went at Mizorowski, pick a different nickname, that's mine, and they did a whole bit. And now they're trying to lure Mizorowski in. I'll say this. He should do it.
On September 28th?
I don't think I would do September 28th, but there's all this talk that they're bringing a pay-per-view to American Family Field in the fall. If they're bringing a pay-per-view to American Family Field in the fall, that's the Royal Rumble or whatever it's going to end up. Survivor Series, I think, is in the fall. If it's going to be that, then let Mizorowski go get in the ring and do whatever for Survivor Series. If that's fine. I don't think I want you messing with him right before my playoff run. But when the season's over, in the offseason, if you want to come up with some wacky storyline and pull him out of the crowd or whatever, and if he wants to do it, obviously, and you're going to pay him well, obviously, then yeah, sure. I'm fine with him screwing around that in the offseason.
If he went and did it and on September 28th, and there was this whole thing, and maybe like the WWE does something where they like kind of make a joke at Miz, or he gets embarrassed or something at the WrestleMania, whatever event this is. If that happens, and then he comes and pitches bad in the playoffs after that, the memes, the jokes about that are going to be so bad, Sparky.
No. Listen. So, no, you can't do it at the end of September. What I'm saying is November.
I know what you're saying. I'm just saying if he did it at that point.
I got more for you. I got more.
Oh, okay.
Let me help. So they yank Miz right out of the stands. Miz grabs him out of the stands, and he's doing his thing. And then McGill appears from nowhere with a chair and smashes Miz on the back, and they beat the crap out of the Miz and walk off. And Trevor McGill's like his security bad guy or whatever the case may be. That would be very cool. And American Family Field would go nuts. Like, McGill's in the back. You don't even see McGill. You yank Miz out, boom, he's beating up on him. McGill comes running out with a chair and beats the crap out of the Miz. That would be awesome.
You think McGill's
the closer finishes them off?
Yeah, I think that works out. I was gonna say, who do you think is the most wrestler like ready brewer?
McGill.
Is it McGill? Yeah, like WWE
dude,
ready.
He's the most intimidating dude on that team, isn't he? He's big. He's kind of got that attitude.
Gary's kind of intimidating too. He's a big guy.
Yeah, he's slow though. I mean,
You could run away from Gary, you think? I think you could
Miz
run away from
definitely-
McGill too.
Miz could definitely run away from him, but it's got to be somebody. I don't know. I just think McGill's a perfect like bad guy wrestler or whatever the case. Come in with a chair shot or whatever. That'd be pretty cool. The other thing
Pat
that would be
Pat Murphy comes out. Oh,
right. The other thing that would be super funny and even better than that would be like if Freddie Peralta appeared out of nowhere and took out our Miz the pitcher.
Oh, yeah,
and like
there you go.
took him out and was on Miz's side, the wrestler. And changed the whole thing.
Luis the
That
Grand
would be
Slam
real
Renjifo comes out of the wings.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome. We could make this
Something
work.
like that. Yeah,
we should put this instead of the alumni baseball game next year, they just do an alumni Royal Rumble with
Yeah.
Brewers guys and have them all just come out. That'd be
Yeah.
awesome. We're good at this.
All right. Coming up next, we follow the money. Follow the money. Austin Herdemia, Potawatomi Sportsbook up next. We are live here at the Wisconsin State Fair inside the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Sparky with you. Welcome in, Wisconsin Sports Daily, live from the Wisconsin State Fair, inside of the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Charlie, you there, buddy?
I'm there. Yeah.
Can I see you for a second?
Yeah,
The video
sure.
stream over
Yeah,
here.
what's up?
I just wanted to see. Hi, Charlie.
Hey, what's
How
up?
you doing? Look at this. Look at.
Milk.
Oh,
Is it
the
root beer
root
milk?
beer milk.
Why don't you? Did you get the other ones? Did you try the other ones?
No, but my kid's got the red velvet one that he's drinking.
All right,
now.
yeah, you got to try it. I want
And my daughter's a really smart one, so she got root beer too.
Okay. Well, you got to try all of them. You should
So
have got
it's
the
good
whole
stuff.
flight. What are you doing?
And Block that always calls
Uh-huh.
in. His mom and dad are out here.
Oh, cool.
Hanging out too. So I was talking to them in the break. So yeah, it's been really, really good. Hey, Habish and Roots here helping Inter Wisconsinites since 1930, man. 13 different locations around the beautiful state of Wisconsin. You're listening to us on the Game in Wausau. They're there. How about WNFL in Green Bay and Appleton? They're there too. How about listening to us on the Fan in Madison? Yep, they're in Madison. Habish and Roots here all over the state of Wisconsin. National reputation, hometown service. National reputation is cool, right? They win a lot of cases. They've helped create a lot of safety laws in Wisconsin. That's all good. But for us, the most important thing is the hometown service, being approachable, treating you like a friend or a family member, not being in that lawyer's office where you walk out and go, did they hear anything that I said? Like, I don't think they were even paying attention to me. They were too busy getting ready for something else. That's the absolute worst. You will not get that with Habish, and Rotier. You go through a horrible thing like a car accident. I did. I've been there. I've done it. You're scared. Your doctor bills are mounting. Your car's destroyed. You're thankful to be alive. Those are all things I went through. And you need to be able to sleep again because you don't sleep for the first several nights, right? You have nightmares. You're stressing out over everything that happened. You need somebody to help focus you and get you in the right direction. Habish.com. Habish and Rotier. National reputation. Hometown service. All right, let's follow the money.
It's time to follow the money with Austin Herdina, the sportsbook manager of the Potawatomi Sportsbook on Wisconsin Sports Daily on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network.
Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo-hoo. Oh, my goodness. Oh, look at this dude. Look at this dude here. Oh, Charlie, you didn't warn me. He's wearing a blue shirt, Charlie.
Yeah, you guys are matching.
Woo!
Look at us. Yeah.
Austin Herdina made my week out here at the State Fair. He popped up. I was like, oh, man, he's wearing blue. He never wears blue. Oh, man, Herdina, look at you styling and profiling like Ric Flair. Doing your thing over there, Austin Herdina.
Thank you very much. Yeah, it's a new shirt, new tie. Thought it looked pretty good. Thought I'd come on the show with it.
Looks good. Hey, man, tomorrow night, we're doing the Potawatomi Sportsbook postgame show. Tim Allen, myself. Are you working tomorrow night, Austin?
I'll be here until about 8 o'clock tomorrow night.
Well, Austin Herdina, let me extend an invite to you. Tomorrow night, Tim Allen is off, and you know this person, Luis Olmos, is coming in studio to co-host the show with me. I would like to extend an olive branch to Austin Herdina to also join me in the radio studio tomorrow night, if you'd like, to do the postgame show. We'll start at 8:30. We'll be done around 10 o'clock if you would like to join us and make it a full-on Potawatomi Sportsbook postgame show tomorrow night.
I'll talk with Luis, see if that's something we can do. That sounds like fun.
What do you mean you got to talk with Luis? That's not his radio station. It's mine. You don't have to talk with Luis. I'm asking you if you want to come into the radio station. Luis doesn't guard who comes on my show.
Oh, well, then, yes, I
Just
say
be
yes.
Luis, Sparky invited me. I'm coming into the station too, baby. You're going to have to share the spotlight, you and Luis. All right?
Sounds good. Sounds like fun.
Ask Luis to come on my radio show. You need to stop. All right, where are we going first?
We're going with the LA Dodgers. We have a lot of people betting on the Dodgers against the Brewers today. I don't know if it's, fading the fact that we put out a lineup yesterday that looked like a minor league team. I mean, I couldn't believe we had.
Stop.
Oh, come on. Are you talking about Gary Sanchez batting third in our lineup?
And what did he do? He came up first play. Boom, hit. It hit to the outfield. It looks fine.
All right. Well, I'm just telling you, I understand why people are backing the Dodgers tonight. Yamamoto on the mound as well.
Gasser on the mound for the Brewers is why they're backing him. If it was Henderson against Yamamoto, Brewers. If it was Miz against Yamamoto, Brewers. If it was maybe even Dustin May against Yamamoto, Brewers. But Gasser against Yamamoto, I mean, that's just tough. That's That's a tough matchup. I mean, I think that's easy. Do we know where the money's at? And I didn't prepare you for this. Do we know where the money's at for the Saturday game yet? For the Miz game on Saturday? Are we at that point, or do we know where that's at?
We don't have lines out for that game yet. Probably not until later tonight.
Now, if people bet the Dodgers against the Brewers tomorrow, then I'm going to have major issue because that should be all Brewer money tomorrow.
Last night's game was pretty awesome, though. I was watching that game and comeback in the ninth inning. That was a lot of fun. Just single after single after single. It was a good win for the team, especially a little
singles.
Banged up.
Yes, 10 singles in the game. They had 10 hits and they were all singles. I'm not sure how many times that's happened in MLB history where a team has 10 hits and they're all singles. All right, what's game number 2?
Game number 2 is the people are betting on the Denver Broncos and Atlanta Falcons preseason game tonight. We got a lot of bets on preseason football. No, people are loving it. I mean, yeah, we got baseball all the time, but Denver Broncos and Atlanta Falcons, people are betting on the Broncos. I don't know. I can't tell you why, but we got a lot of money on the Broncos tonight.
That just tells you how big the NFL is, man. It's a preseason game, and people are betting on that over MLB regular season games. We're in Milwaukee, and people are putting down more money on the Broncos against Falcons game than other MLB games. That they actually probably know more about some of these other teams. All right, number 3.
Can I interject real quick for one thing? Sparky, you asked how many times a team has had 10 hits or more, and they were all singles. So this is as of 2009. So this number is probably bigger, but this is on Pro Baseball Reference. Since 1954, a team has had 10 hits, all for singles, 780 times in MLB history. Had 11 hits that were all singles, 415 times, 12 hits, 250 times, 13 hits, 145 times, 14 hits, 69 times, 15 hits, 44 times, 16 hits, 9 times, 17 hits, 12 times, and 18 hits, all for singles 5 times.
Dude, if this team had 18 hits and they were all singles, our fan base would lose their ever-loving mind. I mean, people were mad last night that they were all singles and they had 10. That's crazy. Over 700 times. That's awesome. See, that's why Charlie's the best producer around. All right, Austin Herdania, where to next?
Last one is Pittsburgh Pirates. Right now it sits at plus 104. This game was plus 120 just a couple hours ago. We had a lot of bets come in on it. It was plus 110 like 10 minutes ago. Now it's down to plus 104. So people are really getting on the Pirates. So if you're looking at, following some steam there, you might want to get a bet in on the Pirates before it becomes minus money on the Pirates.
How worried are you about Paul Skeens?
I've seen that his average fastball speed is down like 3 miles per hour compared to a year ago. I don't know. I don't think that he's an elite pitcher right now for sure. I mean, he's probably still the best thing they got in Pittsburgh, but he's not a guy that I would be excited to go trade for.
Did you just hear what you said? Charlie, did you just hear what he said?
I did just hear what he said.
I'll tell you right now, I don't know what's wrong with him, but I'd trade for him. And I definitely would not be sad about
Especially
it.
if you're the Brewers. Come on.
I can have Skeens and Mizorowski. Yes, I'm in. Let Chris Hook fix them. We'll figure it out later. I'm not too worried about it. Now, if he goes the Hunter Green route and you've got, back surgeries and you're out for multiple years, then obviously, yeah, that's bad. If that's where this is leading to, some people think he's leading to an arm injury, and that's what this is the precursor to it actually happening.
Right.
I hope it doesn't happen because he's really, really good. Austin Herdania tomorrow. Do you want me to text you the address so you know where you're going? Are you good?
Yeah, tell me where to go.
What color are you wearing tomorrow, Austin?
I'll surprise you.
All right. Yeah.
He's going to go get a new shirt and tie just for you, Sparky.
Maybe I'll just show up in my Brewers jersey.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. All right. I've never seen.
Did you ever give Austin his Bears tie that you meant to give him? This would be a perfect opportunity, Sparky.
It would. Where the heck do you buy a Bears tie around here, though? I don't know. I'll figure it out. Austin Herdania, thank you so much. We'll talk to you again tomorrow night in studio. Him and Luis Olmos, and it's going to be a party tomorrow night. And again, it's a big game. Miz is on the mound. Brewers, Dodgers. This is going to be a big game tomorrow night. Where are we at on time-wise here? 1 minute. He joined us on the guest hotline powered by Gruber Law. One call. That is all. Leadoff show comes up tonight at 8 o'clock. Spencer Michaelis, who is like minor league guru on X. I think Charlie would justify that comment. He's going to join us at 8:25 tonight on the Leadoff show. Then after the last pitch, you make the switch to the Potawatomi Sportsbook post-game show with Tim Allen and yours truly tonight after the game will be on until 1 a.m. That'll do it for this run of the State Fair during the week. Tim and I back out here on Sunday for the leadoff show and the post-game show on Sunday, so we'll see you then. Have a good night, Wisconsin. Toodles!